Hey guys. Oh, I missed you too. Hey, cool gamer. Whew. Wow. I'm nervous. I haven't been on here in forever. So I'm going to be reading this book. It's called Breaking Free, and it's by Warren Jeff's daughter, Rachel Jeffs. And it says How I Escaped Polygamy, the FLDS cult, and my father, Warren Jeffs. So it's got photos and everything. Wow. It's going to be a hard one, I think. Yeah, like even this freaks me out. Can you see that? Just them all. Yeah, that screams cult. This is creepy, these photos. I'm gonna have to post them for you guys. Just I don't know, I get icky vibes. I'm creeped out. That's his daughter. Oops. All right, I'll start. Hey, Zuda. All right. This is part one. And this one is titled, yeah, she does, right? I don't know. I just feel gross. Even just, I don't know. Just get weird vibes, I guess. So this chapter is actually called You Could Drive a Car Through My Family Tree. Um, okay. And then there's a quote here from Warren Jeffs, and it says, There's only one man on the earth at a time that can receive direct revelation from God, and it is God's prophet. He just makes me sick. He makes me feel sick. I don't like him. Yeah, I can change it. Is there one of him in cuffs? Let's see. There's one. Hey, Mama 3. There's this one. It's so, it's so little, but there's like a huge black screen. Mm, that doesn't work either, does it? This is cool. Oh, I miss you guys too. Or just me? Yeah, it is creepy. Okay. Um, see if I can find something else. I just feel weird at just being me. Sorry. You're funny, Claire. Oh, she's gorgeous. But she does look like him. Oh my god. All right, I'll do this one instead. Hi, Heavenly Cow. He creeps me out too. Like I've just even touching this book, it makes me feel sick. Hey, Autistic Shell. Yeah, I missed you guys too. Sorry, I've been going through a lot. Yeah. I want to bring my shit on here, so I'm just gonna read it and read this book and shut up. But I'm gonna try and come back on as much as I can. If not, I'll do videos as much as I can. I'm just really busy right now. My grandmother's not well. She's not coming home, so I've been going to the hospital and stuff. But anyways, okay. So Hilldale, Utah, November 25th, 1986. Rachel, Becky, come here. Father was standing next. Even that annoys me, calling him father. Father was standing next to the prophet's casket at the front of the meeting house. The prophet was Leroy Johnson, the leader of the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints, and the only man on earth worthy of receiving the word of God, but we knew him as Uncle Rye. My sister Becky and I walked over to the casket. Our father was Warren Jeffs. He was the principal of our church school. Father took one of our little hands, each of his, and we held on tight. I had just turned 3 years old, and Becky was 2 months younger than me. Our mother's father's first two wives were sisters. What the fuck? And I'd been pregnant with Becky and me at the same time? This is bad. Can we get these girls a stool so they can see? Father asked one of Uncle Roy's wives standing in line, waiting to pay the respects to Uncle Roy. I could hear people crying. So this is written by this girl on the screen. Hi. Just had to say I'm sorry for your grammar and Leslie and beyond thankful I found your channel. Thank you. That makes me smile a lot. Thank you very much. Hey, Stella. Good. I'm glad you're here, girl. Can you come up with me? I want to do this with you. This is something that me and Stella have been talking about for a while. And yeah, I'm going to do this. Absolutely want to do this with you. So I'm going to get your butt up here because I might have questions or might puke. I don't know. This is really, 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 really like I know it's bad, but it feels worse, if that makes sense. I haven't read it. I understand it, but clearly I don't understand it enough. And just reading that part where they're together pregnant and they're sisters, I mean, yeah. A lady with gray hair brought over a small yellow stool and placed it in front of the casket. Father helped me up onto it first. I had never seen a dead person before. I looked inside the coffin, curious and frightened, as the withered, pale figure lying there. Hey, girl.
Hey, I got to cut that off. Sorry.
How are you? Any better?
You know, good days and bad days. Slept a lot today. I just got up not long ago. It's been rough.
Leland, can you turn that heat down? I can't even hear myself think. It's really loud today.
But I'm glad you're doing this.
Left. Hey, Teresa. Well, it was just weird because you and I were talking about this, and I actually forgot all about it. And the next thing I know, I'm walking in. It's called Your Family Dollar. It's a bookstore and an everything store, really. And I saw this. I swear, this book it fell. It kind of creeped me out. It fell, and then a few other books fell, and I picked it up. I'm like, what are the odds of that?
Mm. This was one of the ones I was talking about too with you, actually.
Is it?
Yes. The one I
I'm
was telling you
already
about.
freaked out just reading the prologue.
Yeah. Because they took, well, I remember when it happened, they
You sound so
rounded up.
low. I don't know if it's me or what.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can turn me up. I might have had me down before. Hold on. Uh, Let me see.
Did you do it, buddy? You know what? I'm gonna put my hearing aids in. Clearly, that would be why. Sorry, just a second.
Oh, wait, it was me.
Did you put it on close or did you turn it closer to 30 or the other way? Yeah, thank you.
Can y'all hear
It's weird. I
me
don't know
in the
why.
chat?
There.
Yeah, just it.
This should work better. Yeah, you do. Is it me, guys, or does she sound low?
Yeah.
She sounds low
Can
to
y'all hear
me.
me?
Can you guys hear her, Sayla? I don't know. She sounds really low to me.
Let me see.
Sucks because I can't fix it on my end.
Let me see. Hold on.
There. I think
Is
I'm
that
okay
better?
now. Hearing aids and yeah, the
Is
heat's
that better?
off. So I'm just gonna continue reading, but if there's anything you have to add to it or have any questions, or if I do, she's a little okay, she is a little bit low.
I am a little bit low. How about now?
Yeah,
I tried to turn it all the way up. Hold on. Is that better?
not really.
No? Hmm.
I don't know
Let's
if it has
see.
to do with volume or if it has to do with you being close to whatever source you're using. I don't know.
Well, I have on my earphones, my Beats, so it should be working pretty good. Let's see. Let me try. If I take it out, let's see if it works better. Is that
Yeah,
better?
it's really hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's still the same.
Oh, that's weird. Let me see.
Do you want to maybe go out and come? I wonder if it's the headphones. I don't know. I don't use
Well, I took them
headphones.
out. How about now? Still low?
I guess it's crackly too.
Let me go out and come back up.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe
try
it'll.
that.
Okay.
Okay. It's low and she has static. Ah, okay. Yeah, she's lower than me. Yeah, I can barely hear her. She left, so she'll be back in a minute. So I'm just gonna keep reading until she comes back. That's a crackle? Okay. Is the crackling from me or is it just from her end? I hope not. This damn computer's been going up saying quite a bit for it. So a lady with gray hair brought over a small yellow stool and placed it in front of the casket. Father helped me onto it at first. I had never seen a dead person before. I looked inside the coffin, curious and frightened, at the withered, pale figure lying there. I couldn't relate to that because the first dead person that I ever seen was um, a family member on the, I don't know, not really my family member. It was through marriage, but he was all gray and like, I don't know. It wasn't very good to see that. I shouldn't have been there. He didn't look at all like the bald man with the benevolent smile I'd only seen in pictures. He was so very old, and his face looked white and fake. He had been sick for a long time. I hadn't met Uncle Roy while he was alive, but I knew he had been the leader of the church since before my father was born. Father leaned into me, put his mouth next to my ear, and quickly said, Uncle Roy was the greatest man on earth. Rachel, I want you to never forget what a privilege it is that you have seen the prophet. I think even at a young age, I still wouldn't understand. All right, let's see if that works. Could be your mic. You there?
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better for me.
Okay. It might have just been the connection.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe it's a connection.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I think so because it's low again and it's crackly.
I'm gonna cut out my other channels on here. See if that helps, like close all my tabs.
Yeah, it sounds better and then it sounds like it's going lower. What do you guys think? You guys say it's better? Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, it went
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Damn it. It's got to
Ah.
be like a connection thing.
Yeah, and I'm sitting right here by the router. That's weird.
Crackles back.
Let's try it
Damn, I
again.
want you up here with me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Better?
It, it's like all of a sudden you go close and then you can yeah. Teresa said check your mic connection.
Well, now I've just got it on my regular computer, which is a new computer. It shouldn't be having
Yeah,
crazy
it's
with
still
this.
low and it sounds like you're underwater. Oh, it's the
Really?
static. I can't hear the static.
You keep reading. I'll work on it. You keep reading.
Okay. The most important rule in the FLDS religion is this: never question the prophet. See, I already have a problem with that statement. I do,
Yeah.
anyways.
Mhm.
Even after Uncle Roy's death, Father continued to read his sermons to us every day at 6 a.m. before breakfast, before we did anything else at all. In fact, these readings were considered vital to our spiritual growth. Uncle Roy's teachings were very specific. People in our church should conduct themselves with humility and obedience to the church, to our parents, and to our husbands. Women had to wear long dresses with sleeves to their wrists and skirts to their ankles. Boys should not so much as touch a girl's arm before marriage. The prophet determined who and when a person should marry. With Uncle Roy's passing, my paternal grandfather, Rulon T. Jeffs, assumed the mantle of prophet of the FLDS.
How about that?
While grandfather Rulon, oh, that might be better.
Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Okay, that one sounds a little bit louder.
Okay.
So with Uncle Roy's passing, my paternal grandfather, Rulon T. Jeffs, assumed the mantle of prophet of the FLDS. While grandfather Rulon was still alive, Father preached to us about the prophet from the stand at the meeting house and from his living room chair almost every day. God and the prophet do right, Father said. Okay.
Ah,
Being the
this is sick.
descendant of a
I'm just
prophet.
warning
Sorry, what?
you. I said I'm just going to tell you this is very sick, and it gets way sicker. So just definitely put a warning out there because it's going to get bad.
I did put there's a trigger warning on my thing going on the bottom, and I put it in the description. Hey, Earthling. God and the prophet do right, Father said. Being the descendant of a prophet made you something like royalty in the FLDS. I and some of my siblings had prophet blood on both sides of the family. Uncle Roy had been the prophet since 1949, 3 years before declaring our church a completely separate entity from the Church of the Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City, commonly called the Mormon Church. I actually went to the Church of Latter-day Saints when I was younger. It was ridiculous. The sermon was awful. The girls scared the shit out of me, and I never went back. So I did try it
They're,
out,
they're
but I
tied
did
in.
not realize that it
They're
was
also
part of
tied
the
in with
FLDS.
Freemasons. Yeah.
I didn't know
My
that.
family on one
Now I
side
know why it was so fucked
Mormon.
up.
Yeah, it is. Did you go to the one
This
in
girl was
Utah?
sitting there. Oh, thanks,
Did you go?
Earthling. It's fake.
Did you go to the Utah one? The one in Utah?
No, I'm in Ontario. I went to the one here, like
Oh,
20
you went to
minutes away
local.
from me.
Okay. See, people
Yeah.
that are in that church, they have to make like a pilgrimage to Utah, supposedly, like once a year, or to the main one in Utah.
Yeah.
But this group is kind of like an offshoot, if you know what I'm saying. Like, how
Yeah.
like the David Koresh thing happened in Waco, Texas. Like it's an
Yep.
offshoot of a religion, but it got wacky and like just way. I mean, this is what the TV show Sister Wives.
Yeah.
This is their religion basically, but this is like a wackadoodle offshoot that got
Yeah.
way off sync in line with that. So I was just letting you know so people might understand.
Yeah. I figured it was going to be horrible.
Uh,
Okay.
we're breaking up.
Before that, our church had considered itself a subsidiary of the main church in Salt Lake, but in truth, Uncle Roy's declaration was kind of a formality. Our people had already been excommunicated from the traditional LDS church back in 1935 for refusing to give up polygamy. In those days, the prophet had been John Y. Barlow, whose older brother, I don't even know how the hell to say that. It says this name here, it's spelled Ian Thus. Ian Thus Barlow, I guess that's how you would say it, was my maternal great grandfather. Ian Thus left the church when his brother became the prophet because he didn't want to follow his younger brother. But Ian Thus continued to practice and teach his family to live polygamy. More than 4 decades later, in 1978, Ian Thus' son Isaac Barlow, my mother's father, rejoined the church with his family. By then, Uncle Roy was the prophet. The Barlows stayed for only a few years, but it was long enough for Isaac's daughter, Annette, and 3 years later, his daughter, Barbara, to marry a young schoolteacher named Warren Jeffs. Both girls were 17 years old at the time of their weddings. I was born in Salt Lake City in 1983, the oldest child of father's second wife, Barbara Barlow. That made me the firstborn into this polygamous family, his first plural child. My sister Becky, who was summoned to Uncle Roy's casket with me, was born to Barbara's older sister Annette, technically making Becky my cousin as well as my sister, although we never thought of it that way. It wasn't uncommon for sisters to marry the same man. This is disgusting. It was right after my mother's wedding to father that her family, the Barlows, left the church again. They objected to my mother's not being allowed to choose her husband, but Uncle Roy had told my mother to marry my father, and that was that. The Barlows took all of their other children, and with them when they left, leaving Annette and Barbara to their fate within the church. That is so effed up. And according
It's
to the
messed up.
FLDS church, yeah, it's sickening. That's funny because I'm currently doing a play and had an emotional moment when I first put on my wig and remembered how it feels to have hair. I love it. It's a clip-on. Look at it.
It is cute. I love it.
Dude, I literally have no hair, but that's because I
Wow, what a
take medication. So now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's mine.
Ooh, I like it.
Actually, I got this from a subscriber, so thank you very much. I'm not going to mention her name just in case she doesn't want her name mentioned, but
That's
I
nice.
did. It was very nice. And then I got a little circle puffball thingy, and it's like an elastic, so you just literally go like this, take
Yeah,
your
my
hair in a bun and put it in,
daughter's
and
got one
it's
of those.
like I got
Yeah.
more hair. I have the reason why I don't have a lot, like I have hair, it's just really thin, and it's even more thin now than it ever was because I'm on medication for endometriosis, and it makes you lose your hair, it makes it really thin, you know what I mean?
Ah,
I'd rather that than pain.
yes, I agree. I had that. It sucks.
Yeah, it's very painful. Okay, where the hell was I?
You were married. There were some
According to the
sisters married something. There were triple sisters.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the uncle Roy had told my mother to marry my father, and that was that. The Barlows took all of their other children, and with them when they left, leaving Annette and Barbara to their fate within the church. According to the FLDS church, leaving is the most wicked thing you can do, and father taught his young wives that they were so very blessed to have married him because the Barlow family would all be down in hell, and only the two of them were good enough to escape damnation. You went from thin to baby ass fine. Yeah, it's so thick. Like I have hair. I can make it so it looks bigger, but it just takes a lot. So I just rather. Plus, this is fun.
It's just
Hey,
easier to
French
do
girl
that.
Brenda. Yeah, it's like have a shower, put my hair in a ponytail, put this on, and shit, it's already made. Plus, I like it.
That's
It's
a
got
good
little
idea.
orange highlights in it. Yeah. Okay, so they go to hell, and the only two of them
So they
were good
go to
enough to escape
hell.
damnation.
So they go to
Right.
hell.
I don't know if
I
this
think
was
I'm gonna
why
pray they
Mother
don't all
Annette and
go
Mother Barbara.
to hell.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's sick.
I don't know if this is why Mother Annette and Mother Barbara weren't affectionate with their children. I knew my mother loved me, but she was hard to get close to, and she didn't talk very much. She would never hug one of her children for no reason. It just wasn't her way. Mother Annette was the same with Becky and her other children. Father sometimes said it was up to him to be both mother and father to us, as though it was his role to be close to the children. That disgusts me. Just that, I don't know, I just got queasy. Anyways, yet the mothers who came later, who came from families in the church, did not withhold their affection from their children. I wonder why that is. Were they told not to?
I think they were
Like the actual mothers, were they told not to be motherly to their own children?
right because it's supposed to be like a commune thing where all the women take care of all the kids, and it's all like you know what I'm saying. And they really like.
Yeah.
I can give a little background. Like Warren Jeff started excommunicating the husbands, and he started separating families and taking the men and excommunicating them. And also, they called the younger men that were a threat to the old men who wanted to marry the young girls.
Yeah.
They were called the Lost Boys. They would send them off and just have nothing. Like they came from nothing. They knew nothing, and they would just be excommunicated, and they were lost in the world. So there's kind of like an underground railroad with a lady that used to be think she's Warren Jeff's daughter, possibly by one of the wives, but she escaped, or he might have been one
Yeah,
of her wives, but she escaped, and she helped a lot of them escape from there. But like, it's
good.
dangerous. Like, they really had to. And there's a picture of Warren Jeffs in every single house that is there, and they have to stop several times. And there's like microphones or speakers that are all over the community, because it's like behind a wall, and like
Sick.
everything the prophet would say, they would put it over. They call him the prophet, which he is not. He's a prophet from hell, maybe,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
he would put
I
it
agree
on
with
those
that.
speakers several times a day, like in some kind of a crazy communist country where there's a dictator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
And so, yeah, he was throwing the men and the younger teenage boys out so that these 12 and 13-year-old and sometimes younger girls would
Oh
be
my
married
god.
off to old men.
Oh my god.
Just a background so everybody can know what, you know,
Yeah. That's
picture kind
awesome,
of what
Earthling.
this
Yeah, just grab
person.
actually, they're on Amazon, and they're not very expensive at all. Or even if you've tried the new, Temu app, I got a hairpiece from there for, like, I think it was 2.99. Works pretty good. And, yeah, just try it for fun. Just it will look real as long as you get the same color as your hair. Trust me, it looks real. Well, hey, it will do nice. And I'm proud of you, by the way. That's awesome. I'm glad it's been a year. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so apparently it was up to father. He said it was up to him to be both mother and father to us, as though it was his role to be close to the children. Yet the mothers who came later, who came from families in the church, did not withhold their affection from their children. This is how I grew up in Sandy, Utah, a suburb of Salt Lake City, knowing that we were different from everyone else. Our families were large, we dressed modestly, our hair had to be braided a certain way. We belonged to a church the outside world didn't seem to understand. It's good to be different, father often said to us children. If we were like everyone else in the world, we would be very wicked like they are. That is why you children are so special, he said, because you are privileged to know the prophet, the greatest man in the world. He gives us teaching straight from the Heavenly Father.
Ah,
I was shaking my head.
mm, mm, no.
Oh, you're welcome, Doc. Yeah, you're welcome. I said you're welcome. As principal of our private church school, Alta Academy, Father had full control of what we learned. Every morning at the beginning of the school day, there was morning class held in the meeting room with all the students attended together. Father taught us about the dress code, about keeping our bodies covered, and that boys must not touch girls and vice versa. Afterwards, we all lined up and went off to our various academic classes. The boys and girls were shared classes through fifth grade, and then the boys and girls were separated, and the girls no longer had any communication or social life at all with these boys. None of the teachers at the church school had gone to college. What? Including father, but father was a very good teacher all the same. He taught himself how to program computers. He could explain math all the way through trigonometry. We also were taught reading, science, history, English, right up to fifth or right up till eighth grade. In addition, we were schooled in the history of Mormon Church, at least as the FLDS saw it. We learned that Joseph Smith had been chosen prophet of the Lord and that the Mormons had been persecuted and driven from their land in the 19th century. We were taught that the world was always and will always be against us. Our only protection was to obey the prophet. And if we ever left the church, we would be damned, and all of hell's angels, we would be the most miserable. If we were good and stayed sweet, then we would be blessed.
Yeah.
We live in a lovely area at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon, about 6 miles east of downtown Sandy. And father often took us hiking up the mountain across the street. Home was in an unremarkable brick house built in the 70s. But there were 8 bedrooms, one for each mother, and the children shared with siblings closest to our own age, which were usually half siblings. Boys and girls not only didn't share rooms, but were forbidden to enter one another's room ever. Becky and I were allowed to watch a couple of kids movies when we were little. I remember Bambi and Cinderella on a VCR in our grandmother's bedroom. We were also allowed a few children's books at the school books, from which we learned to read. Books from the outside world, Gentile books, were monitored very closely. Romance titles especially were forbidden. It was wicked to even think about a boy, let alone like one. We had very little money. Father didn't earn much of a salary as the principal of our church school. Most of the family's income was generated by Mother Barbara, and who did commercial sewing out of the house. We had several large industrial sewing machines in the family room. Sometimes we children would help Mother clip threads and turn her finished projects right side out. But with so many of us to support, there was still never enough. Father refused to live off the government, so we did not have food stamps, Medicaid, or any of the other kinds of assistance that others FLDS families relied on when they needed to. As a result, all of our furniture and bedding came from secondhand stores. Nothing matched. There was ugly pea green carpeting throughout the house, and our hideous secondhand couches were embarrassing. I love it when every once in a while we get something new from Kmart or some other discount store. I dreamed of having a beautiful home with matching couches in the living room, coordinating rugs, towels in the bathroom, and my own bedroom with the furniture and decor harmonized. There were several bathrooms, but there was one no one used unless you were in danger of wetting yourself. What?
Mm.
That one was off the mudroom by the kitchen, and we called it the mud bathroom. It was always messy, and the toilet seat was always freezing. Since no one liked to use it, it was a good place to hide and read a Gentile book if you could get your hands on one. Every morning, Father drew up a list of chores for us, and no one was left out. He would put a mother and certain children on kitchen duty to prepare the meals and clean up, another mother and several children on house cleaning. A mother and other children were tasked with tending the younger children. Every day, one mother and one of us girls was assigned to laundry duty, and it took all day. Laundry was an enormous chore, and I hated it when it was my turn. There were no laundry hampers, so there was always great piles of children's clothes on the floor. The entire family's laundry pile looked like a mountain to me, and it had to be sorted and folded into each person's individual basket. One mother overheard me complain about having to do all that folding and yelled down to the basement to me, "You can't come upstairs until it's done." Complaining was considered a sin, so my punishment could actually have been more severe. These people are fucking crazy.
The only
We had a
silver
nice
lining in
size
this whole
kitchen.
thing is that SOB is in prison. That's the only silver lining in all of this.
But he's still doing his shit behind it,
I know.
from what I
He's still
understand.
running it through his sons and
Well, what I
his
don't
nephews.
understand, he's in prison for doing this shit. So why in the fuck is he allowed, excuse my language, I'm just
No,
really
you're
disgusted.
right.
Like, how in the world is he able to run a cult? Why don't they take away his communication? Like, that's what I
Exactly.
don't understand. You're allowing, why have him in prison then? You might as well throw him the fuck back out.
Exactly. The only
Like, I
thing
don't get it.
they're stopping him from doing basically is him himself Ring SAing the children like he was.
Yes, that I'm happy about, but he's still running this cult, and I
But he's
don't
still running the
understand
same
it.
cult, and there's men doing the same thing he was doing. So it's still
Yeah,
happening.
right? That's what I don't understand. How is
Yeah.
that even allowed? So yeah, you put the little bastard in jail, but
But then there's
you got his
a
kids and
bunch of other
everything
little
else
bastards
running a
on there.
cult.
And that's the problem. These girls, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They have to marry whoever he says. Like he gives those orders from prison still. So these girls, like when they are old enough to hit puberty, which some of them as young as 10, I think they went back to 7 years old.
Holy
Even
shit.
yeah, and they would get married. A lot of them two born Jeffs. He had this whole room that was all white, a white bed, and I mean, there's actually videos that I can send to you um, that you can
Oh, I
show
don't know
them.
about I don't know. Yeah, I'll show them if they're not like really bad.
No, showing like whenever they went inside there and raided the place, and it like just shows
Oh,
like
okay.
the room. Yeah, nothing like nothing bad, but
Okay.
it will
I'll do
show.
that then.
Yeah, I'll send that to you though because it's good to
There's got to be a
have
way we
background.
can stop this.
I wish there was a way that we could stop it though, and bringing
Yeah,
more
just the little bastard
awareness
from
to it
jail.
might. Like maybe if enough people hear about this and they start calling
Yeah.
and complaining and
That's
saying,
what I
"How about
mean. Like he shouldn't be allowed to have
everybody
anything.
take his ability away to communicate with anyone?"
Yes, that's what he needs because if he didn't have that communication, this wouldn't be happening, I don't believe. I think someone else might try and step up, but I don't know if it will really work because with the prophet in prison, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
No visitors, no communication, no letters, no nothing. Let that
no,
bastard
nothing.
rot.
He doesn't deserve a daggum thing. Nothing.
No, he doesn't deserve to have
He don't
communication with
even
the
deserve a
outside world.
bed. I
Why
mean,
the hell is he getting visitors? And why is he getting letters? Why is he getting phone calls? No, take that shit away.
no.
That was his crime. That's how he's controlling people. So take it away. I don't
Just
care
like
about
if there's
human basic
a
rights. Fuck
gangster,
him.
like if there's a gang, and the gang member gets put in jail, they watch and monitor what they do so they can't still run the gang inside the
Yeah,
prison. So why wouldn't they do that with this stupid SOB,
that's what I
child
don't understand.
molester? Yeah, sick.
I don't get it either. I'm petting my cat. She's like my little co-host.
Yeah, I need to get
Always
mine
there.
better. Listening to this for comfort. She's so cute.
All right, you ready, Claire? So every morning, Father, I probably just read that, didn't I? There we go. We had a nice sized kitchen, but mostly empty cupboards. It seemed like there was enough food to eat. There was never enough food to eat. And what there was, we children thought was pretty yucky. There were years when we didn't eat much milk or meat, and we never had sugar or any kind of processed cereal or candy. The mothers would get buckets of raw honey when they could afford it. Mostly we subsisted on homemade whole wheat brick bread, mush, beans, veggies in the summer when we grew them, and a lot of brown rice. In other ways, our childhood wasn't so different from the outside children the church experienced, except we had a bigger family than most. I was the third of seven girls in a row before father's first sons were born. My sister Becky and I were practically twins. We shared a bedroom, secrets, everything. When we were 5, father had us start a violin lesson with Jennifer Wall, who was extremely talented and made the learning fun for us. She eventually married father. We played with our dolls and rode bikes, and we went swimming every day or every Thursday at our Uncle Wallace's pool. Father taught us all how to swim when I was 7. He took extra time with me, teaching me all different strokes and how to dive. Every Friday night, we each had to get up in front of the family and perform a song or play. Father took us fishing at least once every summer. When father came home from a stressful day at work, he'd ask us children to act out plays and skits for him. Sometimes he would join in, acting out silly antics to make us laugh. He favored the girls and spent far more special time with us doing fun things than he did with the boys. Most of the time, our imaginations were our favorite entertainment, using the few movies and books we read. They pretended for hours making up stories and adventures to keep ourselves amused when we were not in school or doing our assigned chores. There was also a large front yard and a small forest of trees. In the backyard, we called it the woods, where Becky and I went to get away from everyone else and build huts or tree houses. It was our happy place. There was also a large garden, and we planted with all kinds of vegetables during the spring and summer. Each day, one of the girls would be assigned to water and weed. There was a small orchard of fruit trees, apple, plum, pear, peach, and apricot, and we were often snacked on the unripe fruit. There was also a beautiful array of roses by the front porch. The bush closest to the front door was my favorite, a peace rose. It produced large flowers of pink and yellow. Encircling this Eden was a 6 foot tall cement wall, a defining characteristic of every house I lived in. As a child, I thought these walls were meant to keep the wicked world outside, but in time I came to realize that they were there just as much to keep us in.
Hmm.
She's
That
still
was more the
breaking up and
reason.
cracking a lot. Yeah.
Am I now? I moved rooms.
Yeah, right now you're good.
Okay, I changed my rooms
Okay.
if that helped.
Yeah, I think that helps more. All right, now we're on chapter 2, and go figure, this one's called Sins of the Father. Better not be bad. I'm saying trigger warning just in case. Okay, yeah, it's bad. I don't know if I should read it.
It's really bad. That stay sweet thing that they were talking about, that is a huge thing. The stay sweet. That means don't let anybody touch you because they want them to be completely pure for these old effers. You know what I'm saying?
Keep sweet and obey.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'll go as far as I can, but fuck, I don't know if I can do it. Okay. Rachel, father wants to talk to you on the phone, Mother Annette said one day in the summer of 1992. I picked up the handset. Rachel, come over to my office, father said. It is better. Okay, good. Father had recently started singling me out for special attention, inviting me to spend time with him without the other children around. So I make sure my son's door is closed and he's good.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
got he's playing his guitar, so he can't hear
Well,
shit.
that's good because
Good.
this is not good for
Oh, I
kids at
don't want
all.
him anywhere. That's
Yeah.
why I'm making sure.
Yeah.
At the time, there were 7 of us girls and 3 little boys, aged 3 and younger. I had no idea why he chose me above all the others. He'd take me for a drive or shopping or to eat at a restaurant, just us two, but mostly he had me spend time with him in his office. Usually I would read one of his books he had lying around, or help him clean up or do some minor task he gave me. When I arrived that day, the light in the office was very dim. The blinds had been pulled closed, allowing only a small stream of afternoon sunlight to peek through the slats. Come in, Rachel. Father was sitting in the chair behind the desk. Come closer, he said, and waved me over to him. He pulled me onto his lap. He moved his hands around underneath. Fuck's sake. Trigger warning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he moved his hands around underneath me and then slid me off his lap and turned me around to face him, pushing me to my knees. Oh my God. His pants were undone and his genitals were exposed. I gasped. I've never seen a man's parts before. Only my little brothers when I was told to change their diapers. Father had always taught us that our bodies were sacred and that it was a sin to let anyone see them uncovered. Well, then how the fuck is he doing that then? If it's what? I just
Because
want to smash this
he's
guy.
the prophet, and he says whatever he says goes, and he convinces them that God says this is something special between them, and it's just so sick and
This
twisted.
is
It's evil, is what it is.
is
That's why I was saying warning, because this is even nothing compared to as bad as it gets. I don't
I'm
know
assuming it's going to be
what
a
they
million
put.
times worse.
It will.
Oh God, it's getting bad already. So it's a sin to let anyone see bodies uncovered. Father took my hand and placed it on his. Hold on. Okay, so he made her did that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, he did it all because he wanted her to know what a man looks like. So she's terrified. She wants to run. She wanted to scream. I wanted to cry my heart out, but I didn't dare do any of that. Strict obedience to our father and mothers was the second most important rule, after never questioning the prophet. I was afraid of what father would do to me if I didn't obey. Rachel, see how a man goes heart? Oh my God. Don't turn away, look. Then she says, why is he making me do this? This is wicked. Father himself teaches us so. Is father doing this because I am 8 years? Holy fuck, she was only
I
8.
told you it was like 7. I think it was down to 7 years old.
I didn't even read you guys what he said to her, what he made her do, because I'm scared it's gonna really. We were taught that 8 was the age of accountability. Are you? Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of F-bombs on this. Hey, Dragon
Yeah,
Mama.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry,
I'm gonna
guys.
probably have a couple cuss words
I'm
myself. I'm
probably
just gonna
gonna
have to
start
ask.
crying because I feel bad for this girl. Like, this is insane. 8 was the age of accountability, when all of our sins would be on our own head. As his breathing got faster, the feeling of shame in my heart seemed to thicken and curdle. I walked home from his office that afternoon feeling like a true sinner. I had done a terrible thing, and I was afraid my mothers and siblings would be able to tell what happened in father's office. When I got to the house, I went immediately to my bedroom. I couldn't eat dinner with my family. I was overwhelmed with guilt. Finally, as my sisters came to bed and settled into sleep and darkness filled the room, I wept silently into my pillow until I fell asleep. The next morning, and every day afterward, father behaved as though nothing had happened. Girls, let's go on a hike, father said as we walked in the front door one warm day in July. Yeah, poor girl. Like, this is insane. We scrambled to find shoes and socks since we stayed in bare feet as much as possible in the summer to keep cool. Since we had to wear long dresses and long underwear, bare feet were our only relief. There was one designated sock basket for the whole family, and we'd have to dig through it to try to find a pair. That day I ended up with one blue sock and one black sock that was too big, so the heel rode up to my ankle. When I walked out on the porch, I saw father with some of my sisters and our dog Sunny, one of the German shepherds we had over the years. already heading toward the road to cross over to the mountain, and I ran to catch up to them. As we stood in our obvious church dresses and braids, waiting for cars to pass so we could cross, the driver of a red car lay on the horn and yelled, "Pligs?" out the window at us. We got that a lot, Gentiles laughing and pointing at us. Oh, short form for polygamists.
Yeah, plagues. Yeah.
The first part of the hike was an easy walk up the dirt path to the water tank. From there, the trail steepened. Father and Sonny led the way up to the deer trail to the bridge. Every so often, Sonny would come back down to check on his girls. We were lagging behind, talking and laughing and getting winded. Girls, if you want to save your energy, you'll be quiet and keep a constant pace, Father said. We quieted down and continued walking. At the top, we climbed over the bridge and down the other side, up to the top and looked over Bell's Canyon and a beautiful stream weaving through the valley below. It was easy to forget ugly things for a moment. "Race you down to the stream," Father said, and took off running. Oh, I hope what I think doesn't happen.
Hmm.
We took off after him. As I ran, the cool canyon air blew against my face. It felt like freedom. We were halfway down. Becky and I stopped at Bell's Cave, an abandoned mining cave dug into the side of a mountain. "Do you dare go in there?" I said to Becky. "I don't know. It's so dark." She said, "Do you?" We tiptoed to the mouth of the cave, Becky holding the skirt of my dress, and I the sleeve of hers. We took a few careful steps in until the darkness began to crowd us. "I don't really feel like it right now," I said, trying not to sound afraid. "Yeah, me neither." Then we heard a sound at the far end of the cave. I grabbed Becky's arm and we both turned and ran. The other girls and Father and Sonny had already reached the stream by the time we got there. "Where were you?" Father asked with a slightly furrowed brow. "We were trying to be brave and go into the cave," I said. "Get a drink from the stream before we head home," he said. We cupped our hands into the ice-cold water and drank our fill. It was a treat on such a hot day. As we headed back down the mountain toward home, Father and Sonny walked ahead. Becky and I took our sweet time. Suddenly, we heard a loud screech, followed by yelling. In the distance, we could see Father running toward the road in front of our house. Becky and I started running to catch up. "Go straight in the house," Father said. "Don't come over here." Mary Ann had been walking with Father, and she helped us younger girls cross the street, but she was crying. The lady in the car didn't see Sonny running across. Oh, shit. The lady in the car didn't see Sonny running across the road, Mary Ann said. Sonny's. This is the dog. Sonny's back right leg had been ripped. Oh my God, trigger warning. Had been ripped off during the accident. While we sat in the hall and cried, Father went to get someone to put Sonny out of his pain. "I'm sad about Sonny, but I'm glad it wasn't one of you girls that had been run over," he said when he came back into the house. That night, after the evening meal, we had family prayer, and Father thanked Heavenly Father that we were all safe. Then he hugged us all good night and sent us to bed. No, I haven't kept up with that autistic. I can't do drama anymore. It's bad enough I cover KJ. 3 days later, I was on the swings with Becky when I heard Father call out Rachel from the path that led to the school. A shudder ran through. I can't breathe. I don't know why, but I'm having a hard time. Can you just give me a second? I'm gonna go get my inhaler. I don't know what the... Sorry, just give me like 2 seconds.
Hi, guys. Who just had like a year of sobriety? That's so awesome.
Sorry, I forgot to mute.
Congratulations. Hey, Zuna. Hey, Dragon Mama. I was just 7 years clean off pills and stuff in November. So this year will be 8 years. So keep going. Keep going. You got it. Hey, Autistic Shield. How are you doing? I haven't been on a lot on here. Kind of been dealing with that Summer Wells case still a lot. And also my son passed away like a little over a month ago in like 4 days. So it's been pretty rough. Chella, are you the one? Congratulations. So happy for you. Something to be really proud of because We're strong. We're badass. That's what I say because not everybody can do it. It's a really hard thing. And for me, staying straight throughout this is a miracle. Thank you, Deb. It's been it's been rough. I've had my really bad days. I've cried everything out today, so I'm calm. But I actually got through his a celebration or going home celebration. We call it celebration of life with actually only 1 milligram of Xanax. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, well, somebody on here said they just got a year clean. So that's just awesome. Like I'm proud of them.
That
That's
was
number.
Earthling that said that. You still in here, Earthling?
Oh, I didn't
Right.
see who it was. Well, if she's not in here,
Yeah,
she's
she said it's a little bit ways. Oh, she let the dog out. Uh she says, "Well, it looks good, girl." Oh, she's talking about my hair. She said she lost lots of her hair when she was going through addiction and having the kids. And then she says, "By the way, it's almost my 1 year anniversary off the junk." And that's why I said I was so proud of her.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really
I've been
awesome.
supporting her through the whole thing. Spank me for being late. I just went like that. Sake. Shit. I just love her. I'm
It's
a little
funny.
cow.
Uh,
Oh my God.
Sometimes we all need a
You.
good spanky. You kind of have to
Oh, that was good.
take a break. This stuff is like so.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to take a break and laugh about something and kind of go back in it because it's. Whoo,
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I gotta go because I gotta get something. I can't breathe.
decompress.
I knew Dragon Mama was gonna say something. I was just itching waiting. I'm just thinking.
Who needs a spanking? I probably need a
Oh,
spanking.
bend over. I will grab the bottle. Oh
the
my
pat,
God, you guys
the
are funny.
paddle.
Yeah, I know. I think I needed a laugh too. I think we all did.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
backless.
so. What was that song on Roger Rabbit? Was it Hanky Panky?
I love that
Everybody
movie.
needs good spanky, Hanky Panky.
I love that movie. It's still one of my favorites. That and Drop Dead Fred. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 days later, I was on the swings with Becky when I heard Father call out, "Rachel," from the path that led to the school. A shudder ran through me. I'd avoided being alone with him for the last week or so. Since my last visit to his office, I slowly slid out of the swing and walked toward him, my eyes on the ground. "Come clean my office for me," Father said as I approached. "Will you?" I knew saying "I don't want to" would anger him, although that was exactly what I wanted to say. He expected my obedience. "Yes," I said, and continued walking with him a few steps behind. "Rachel, why aren't you walking by me?" I wonder. I knew he knew why, but I caught up to him, keeping my arms folded to avoid any contact and trying to convince myself to ignore the bad feeling I had about this. When we reached the school, I climbed the stairs to his office behind him. He put the key in the door, which was always locked, whether he was in there or not. His sister Rachel, the principal's assistant, was the only other person who had a key. I decided I would clean Father's office as quickly as I could and get out of there before anything weird happened. I got the cleaners and rags out and started washing down the windows. Father took a seat on the couch while I worked. My hands were shaking as I straightened the phone and papers on the desk. I vacuumed the floor and put the chairs in their proper place by the desk, and then I was done. Oh, shit. "Rachel, come here."
Mhm. You know what's coming.
Fucking pig.
Yeah.
Fucking pig. "Rachel, come here." I looked over at him. His pants were undone and his penis was visible.
Oh,
Oh my God.
like I wish
Come
they would put
here.
his butt out in general population with like a bright neon outfit on that says "I'm a child molester. I need my ass kicked
Yeah.
every single day."
Like he's being protected and it's bullshit. I think they should just let him out of jail and, there'll be a mob that will be coming for him.
You're right. Just throw him out in general population out there. They hate
Yeah.
chomos. They'll take care of his butt.
Damn right. Fucking pig. "Come here," Father said again. Terrified, I slowly walked toward him. When I was close enough, he took my arm and pulled me onto the couch beside him. He placed my hand on, you know where. and began moving it up and down. After a few minutes of doing that, he stood me up, lifted my... No fucking way. Um, After a
He
few
just
minutes doing that, he stood me up, lifted my dress, and pulled down my underpants. He sat me on his lap, returned his hand to his thing, and put his hand between my legs and began to rub. He didn't say a word as he did these things. Father wasn't just my father, he was the son of a prophet, the principal of our church's school, the man entrusted with the spiritual education of all the children, most especially his own. When he was done with me, Father said, "You can go home." The sun on my back gave me some relief as I walked back to our house. Oh my God, like I want to kill this fucking guy.
I'm sorry
"Rachel,
to
come
say
eat your dinner," Mother Annette said.
he
When I
needs it.
stepped inside, as though she knew I was planning to go straight to my room again, I sat down at the place that was left for me, and my mouth went dry. Dinner that night was a dish we called cheesy business, which consisted of whipped potatoes, corn, spaghetti sauce, and cheese. I usually liked cheesy business, but it didn't look appealing to me. I forced myself to swallow each bite until I was finished so that I did not seem disobedient. That night, as I lay on my bed, I tried to convince myself that my father would probably never do those weird things to me again, that he was just feeling different this last week. But things only got worse. When he isn't there, kids knows me. Yeah, if
I wonder how old she was there when he did that whole, all the way like that. If she was the same age, if
that's
she
what
was
I'm
still
wondering. So we started off with
eight
her
years
on
old. Yeah.
her touching him at 8,
Yeah.
and then she went in a week later, and she had to
Doing
touch
that.
him, and she right. So I'm wondering. I'm thinking the next step is going to be sex, and
Right. Like how fast, I wonder, did he escalate once he was grooming them
I'm
like
thinking
that?
it's going to be quick because the first time it was him, and then the second time it was both of them. So the third time, I'm assuming it's going to be sex.
Yeah. I feel like that's where it's headed really quick.
Yeah. These
Although,
fucking mothers should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this shit to happen to their kids. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't understand.
I will say a lot of those mothers, they risked their lives and ran with their daughters in the night and like made plans for people to come pick them up and escape while there were people riding around with guns looking for them and stuff. Like there's a movie
That is
about
insane.
this. Yeah.
I've seen quite a few things about this stuff, and it's heart-wrenching. Like that documentary on Netflix, I haven't watched it. I'm scared to watch it because I'm not sure what it's going to do to my mentality. That Keep Sweet and Obey.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if I can watch it. That summer, father summoned me to his office over and over again, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Each time he was more determined to get me to touch him on my own without his having to take my hand and make me do it. I refused. Good girl. I held my hand back and looked away while he kept saying, "Rachel, put your hand here." In the end, he would have to put my hand on him, and he would not let me leave his office until he had his satisfaction. You got sick from that movie? Okay, I was thinking, I don't think I can watch it.
I'm sorry.
Uh-uh.
There's a special place in hell for that son of a bitch. And I'm sorry.
I know.
Like, I'm not a
Don't be
big
sorry.
cusser, but this kind of stuff, it just, oh,
It just
like
makes you want to scream like, "Fuck, fuck, fuck, fuck." You know what I
it,
mean?
it
Like, it's just
does.
unbelievable.
It really does. And honestly, like, I don't understand why somebody doesn't let him out in the general public in prison. And you
Me
know what they ought to
too.
do?
Seeing how
Listen,
he's still controlling things.
and you know how he was doing his all of his profit stuff, like making it on the recording on uh these white speakers all over the whole compound, putting his rhetoric out all day, made them listen to it just constantly, like brainwashed them. What they ought to do is read this book of what he did to these kids out in that prison and
Yeah.
throw his ass out in the prison yard and let all of those prisoners that hear this see who he is. And he's a little squirmy little effer.
Yeah, he'll never
So
last.
yeah, they would kill him
I
in
would
the matter
think.
of 2 seconds flat. They need to read this
Yeah,
out in the prison and then let him go out there with
I
no
think so
protection.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you, Deb. Like, I love horror movies and I love true crime, but when it comes to animals and children being harmed, I'm fucking out. It
Because they're
just,
innocent. They are innocent.
yeah,
Like, for somebody to be so nasty and evil and despicable to take a child's innocence, or even an animal that trusts you, but
Yeah.
especially a child, and your own child. I mean, that there's just nothing worse. I don't think there's anything worse.
8 years old, he's claiming that they should have a mind of their own and they have to be responsible. Are you fucking joking me? No.
That's just,
No. Like
and they're
I
pushing that
wow.
pedo agenda now. They're pushing that big pedo agenda like all over the place now, thinking that saying children have the right to make determinations about their own.
No, they fucking don't.
Right.
I
No,
don't
they
care what anyone
don't.
says, right? Like
Mm-mm. No,
there is statutory rape for a reason. There's rules with that. There's the law with that for a goddamn reason.
exactly. Little children of 8 and 9 and 10 years old they can't make up their mind to do
No.
something like that. There is no consent for a child that age to do something like that. Let's just put it that way.
No. Not at all.
And they need their wieners cut off if they
Yeah,
go
I
against
agree.
that.
That's exactly what I think. They not only need it cut off, then they need it burned.
Or choke. They need
Burn
to
that hole
shove it down
shut.
their throat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Here, you
seriously.
like it. You want to touch little kids? Come here, motherfucker. I'll show you what that feels
Exactly.
like. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't understand the law when it comes to people like that. You can't fix people like that. You just
No.
can't. It's been proven.
No, they're screwed in the head. They'll never be anything but that. If somebody has
Yes,
to sit,
Dragon, Lorena Bobbitt style.
yeah, that's
Only
what I'm
he's not
talking
getting
about.
it back and sewed back
No.
on.
Yeah. No, no, no. I think they ought to
Nope.
cut it up and roast it over a fire and feed it to him.
Exactly.
I know this is horrible, but I mean, to say, but like he deserves nothing less.
Oh, he does. He does. I'm with you on that. Oh, who's saying it or thing? Warren Jeffs. That girl on the screen, her father, he's the prophet. He's still alive. He's still in prison. He's still making people obey
Running,
him. He's still
he's
running a
still running
cult.
that
It's
cult.
just,
Yep. A real cult, not the kind that KJ makes up in her head. This is
yeah,
actual
an
real cult
actual one.
where they
And
put
these,
walls up and don't let the people out, and they like if they try to escape, they have to risk their lives to leave. And even
yeah,
when they leave, they've got to hide out and like sometimes assume an identity and all kind of stuff. Like that's a
yeah,
cult.
that's like some FBI stuff there. Like you need a new identity. Need to move your whole life around because of it. I mean, that's crazy, but
Not
it's
only that,
true.
think about this. You've been told since you were a child, a little tiny kid, you've been brainwashed to think, if I leave here, I'm going to hellfire and burn. I mean, seriously, to
Yeah,
tell a child that and then to molest them and their mind after you've already, like, they're never going to be able to have a normal relationship with God
no,
because what
no.
you've done to their head. That's just disgusting.
Exactly. I do get it and I do understand why like when you're born into that, I
Yeah,
do
they don't know
understand why they
anything
would believe
else.
that. They don't
Yeah.
know any different. Hey, Sheridan.
And that's one
Sheridan
reason
talking. Hello.
they didn't want them to have things or any kind of talking to outsiders and things like that
Yeah, like
because
outside
he
any
didn't yeah
outside influence.
he didn't want anybody to to actually say this is wrong, or he didn't want them to be educated enough to know this is not right, even though
Yeah.
kids have a feeling. She knew because it made her sick. She said it did.
Exactly. She knew, deep down, but not all
Yeah.
children would get it. You would think, but even still, she felt it was wrong. I would imagine saying, well, it doesn't matter because I can't go against the prophet. This is what he wants.
Right.
This is right. I may not like it, but I have to do it. And that's
Exactly.
exactly what this poor kid would think at 8 years old. Like,
Right.
I'd hate to see what I would do if I was in her
I
position.
mean,
I'm
think
saying
at eight
now
years
I would
old
try and rip it off, but
But
that's
at
me
8,
with
you
my
don't know
knowledge
what you
now.
would do because at 8 you would
Exactly.
freeze, because I know things happen to me and you freeze. You don't
Ditto.
know what to do.
You
You
do.
don't know what to do.
Exactly.
And that's why it makes me cry, because to think about those kids going through this, especially at such a young age, like before
I
even
know, like,
puberty sets in or anything, like can you imagine the confusion in that child's head?
and I wonder why people who come from this group hate God. This would
Right.
be why.
Right.
Because they use
Because
religion as
a
almost like a
scapegoat, and they hide behind it.
yes,
It's a mask. It's a mask. They put religion as a
absolutely.
mask, and they do that on purpose. I think they're so wicked. I think they want to represent God in that way to make children
Me too.
actually not even
I
ever
just
have
want
a
to know who
relationship.
the fuck came up with this mindset and the people that actually follow it. I mean, I get it. I get it. I just don't get it. Like with Manson, you know what I mean? Like there that was a cult and they followed and this and that and then there's this cult and there's that. I just can't believe that people are so fucking stupid and naive to believe that shit.
Exactly.
Like especially with Charles Manson because they were older and they did know better.
Even with Manson, honestly, like even he didn't do anything to children, and he was
No.
crazy as a mf'er. But honestly,
Yeah.
all he did was drop acid and sleep with the women,
Yeah,
the women
exactly.
that came. And look, I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm not any kind of Manson sympathizer or anything, but considering the way he was raised and all that, and then him dropping
Yeah.
acid all the time, there's a lot more into that story. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And
He had a
I
really,
think it's
really,
hard.
really, really bad childhood.
He
And
did.
sometimes when you have a bad childhood, you turn out bad. But then usually most of the time when you have a bad childhood, you turn out better than that
Right.
because
You
you
go
wouldn't want
against
to do,
it.
yeah.
Right. You go the opposite
But
way.
he unfortunately fucked him up pretty bad, I think, and that's why he chose to do what he did.
Hmm.
I really do. Because I was I read the book. I read and I learned what happened to him. And this kid was raised by the system. This kid was RAPED at a very young age, constantly. It, his mother was a prostitute, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. She was very young when she
She
had him too.
sold him for fuck's sake. I mean,
Right.
this poor him as a child, no shit, no wonder he turned out like that. But some people will, like I said, turn bad because they had something bad happen to them. So they're gonna be like, you know what? No one's doing this to me again. So F you, F the world. I'm gonna be the bad guy now. Whereas most people would never do anything like that. Yeah. Like
He was
his was bad enough with
institutionalized
murder.
so hard. Like he was institutionalized from a young child. The
Oh
only
yeah.
time that he had any kind of normalcy was when he was with his aunt and his uncle and his grandma up in West
Yes.
Virginia. Um, and then after that, he went from one place to another and was RAP, like you said, by older boys and men. And when he went to Father Flanagan's Boys Town, who was tangled in with that Franklin cover up, where those boys were being snuck into the White House under the Reagan Bush administration, like that was the
Yeah.
place. And it was a Catholic priest named Father Flanagan, and he took those. Yeah, he had a bad experience there. Like
Yeah.
that's where he stole the car and took some other boys, and they rode off. And he was like 13, but he had a
Yeah.
really hard life. But I do
He,
believe that I think he was in that MK Ultra CIA
yeah,
program,
there's something about that. Yes, you're right. I do remember that. I recall that.
and like I
Not a
didn't
whole
even
lot I know about it.
yeah, I just thought that myself after reading everything and looking through everything and looking up everything. Like I was like, okay, this guy is in that CIA mind controlled MK Ultra, like with Kathy O'Brien,
Yeah,
like
he was in
same
that
thing.
program, but there's not a
Yeah.
lot of info on that.
No,
But
because
there
I think they
is,
used him with this as part of the CIA brainwashing experiment. I believe they used Manson because he only had one parole officer. His parole officer only had one actual client, which was Manson. He left where he was at and went
oh,
down to the San Francisco area in Berkeley, where they were doing the MK Ultra mind control projects with LSD, using it
yes,
as a
because that
a
was
form of
used.
mind control.
Absolutely. I know that. The LSD was used
Yeah,
for that. You're absolutely right. Yep. I remember
and
not
his
just from Manson, but I remember I have read that before. I
yeah,
know
and
I
his
have.
parole officer worked at USC Berkeley and was part of that thing. And he was his parole officer. The only, like I said, the only one he managed was Manson. And think about this: they had no money. Manson was a
Oh, he was
ex-con.
very poor.
He had no money. Where would they have gotten all the money to get that acid to give to all those people to drop acid constantly all day long, unless he was
Yeah,
being given that by somebody? You got to think about all of that in a bigger picture. It's really screwed up.
it
It's
is.
it is, and that's why I'm saying this man is even worse than Manson, in my opinion. He really is.
Yeah,
Charles
because it
Manson never
involves
actually
children.
killed all these people. Like
No.
yeah, he might have. Like I could tell somebody to go rob a bank, and if they go rob a bank, they're stupid for doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they made him out to be like the worst villain in history when he actually never did any of those things. I'm not saying he was
Yeah.
right or he wasn't crazy or he wasn't part of it, but I'm just saying, like, he is not worse than the rest of those people, especially the one Tex Watson and all that. You know,
Yeah.
like the things that they did to Sharon Tate, it was despicable, and
Yeah,
he wasn't
that's
even
so yeah,
there.
I can't
So
that's like it's unforgivable murder in itself, but what they did to Sharon Tate, oh my
it's
God.
all sick. But this, to me, this MFer is even sicker than Charles Manson. So that
Oh
says
yeah.
a lot.
Yep, he definitely is. Yeah, like listen to this. Earthling said, "My dad and his twin brother were in foster homes and orphanages, etc., in the 50s and horribly abused. Both became ministers and both continued the cycle with their own kids." That's what I mean.
Yep.
So they've turned into Manson.
And
Only, well,
some do.
no, sorry, they've turned into Warren Jeffs
Right.
because
And then they hide
I don't
behind the
get it.
church. And that's what makes me so mad. I'm like, look, if you want to be a
Yeah,
sick pervert, don't hide behind God and do it. Just
yeah.
be a
And if
sick
you want
pervert.
one of those sick pervert priests, don't keep moving him from church to church to church.
Yeah,
Get him
don't
the hell
hide
in here
them.
and put him in
Yeah,
jail.
kick them out, put them in jail. Don't hide them. Don't hide them. In fact, the Bible says to expose the works of darkness. And it also says
Yeah,
it's better to tie a millstone around your neck and be drowned into the depths of the sea than to hurt a little child.
good. I'm glad it
So I
does.
think
That's
God
super,
says he's
yeah,
pretty clear on that.
yeah. See, she says the same thing. Knowing their history doesn't excuse the behavior, but explains it and helps in my ability to forgive. Yeah.
Exactly. They
I'm
can't
not
help.
good on forgiving at all. I will never forgive. I'll never forget. I understand why. Like with
But,
Warren Jeffs, I don't know. Hopefully we get into what happened to him and maybe we'll understand.
but
I
then
don't
there are
know.
the people that are molested, like guys that are molested that would kill somebody if they molested their kid because of what they went through.
Exactly.
I know some. So I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, she calls it monsters and ministers' clothing. You're absolutely right. They are monsters.
oh gosh.
That's what I usually call people who hurt kids as
I'm so
monsters.
sorry, Earthling, that you had to be a
Yeah.
part of something like
A
that.
lot of us have addiction issues, and this is why.
Yeah. Being effed up when you're a kid, you know, you
It
try to
fucks your
learn
life
to
up.
numb yourself. Yeah, you have to learn to live with it and you don't know how. And then
No,
you
not
try
at
one
all.
thing that numbs it, the pain, you know, and it's like,
Mine was
wow,
alcohol.
okay, yeah. And
It
everybody
was
has their
alcohol.
own poison. I mean, some people even have shopping addictions and porn
Yeah,
addiction,
and
all
that's
kind of
why.
things.
It's because of something that happened to them in their childhood,
Right.
and
It's a
it's
trauma.
unbelievable
Yeah.
how much trauma is with each person I come across. It's like, holy shit.
If we only knew, honestly, it would not surprise me
Yeah.
if almost every single kid has been involved. And I'm not saying like completely, you know, essayed, but I'm
Something,
saying
though.
something though,
Something,
even a
either from a
molestation of their
relative or
mind.
their own
Yeah,
parent
something
or a friend of a friend. I guarantee 90%. I wouldn't
exposed to
doubt it.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's disgusting. And they
it
do need to
is.
do something with these pedophile. They do. They need to start
Look, I think after we're done reading this book, we should come up with something. Just try something. I don't care whether it be phone calls, a petition, both,
right.
whatever. We'll do something.
I
I'm
agree.
game.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm sure we'll get enough people that will. You want to get a
Yeah,
phone
and we
call
can
every day
also
from
put
a
it out
million
on
different
Twitter.
people?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
put it out on
saying. You want
Twitter
to get a
too.
phone call at this
Yep,
prison every day from about 500 people? Well, do what we say, or we're not going to leave you alone. You know
exactly.
what I mean? They're going to have to do something.
Exactly. Take his privileges away. He doesn't deserve them. The
Yes.
taxpayers don't. I don't want to have to pay for that ass for anything.
No, he should be sent to death. He
Yeah,
should get the death penalty. I'm frozen
he
over.
should. I'm like the firing squad for sure for him.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Except that's too kind. I think it should be slow and painful.
Me too. Puppy farts. Oh, I know. They're the worst, eh? And their breath.
Whoo.
Autistic's got a new puppy. She's like, oh, puppy farts. Hey.
And my
Oh, and
dog.
you mentioned something about that W5. I watch that all the time, actually, Autistic Show.
What's
And
W?
yeah, it's a pretty good show. It's only how long I haven't watched it actually in years, but I used to watch it all the time. It's only a few minutes.
Oh. Well, speaking of the puppy farts, I think our dog for some reason likes to eat the cat turds. Do y'all have a problem with
They
that?
all do, I swear.
Okay. I'm like,
It's like,
don't lick me in the face.
why?
I just saw you eat that cat turd. Don't.
Yeah, don't become kissing up on me when your mouth's been in that bastard shit like that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm gonna shut up and read some more of this book.
Okay.
I'm still only
All
on
right.
chapter 2. They're pretty small chapters, though. Okay, so that summer, Father summoned me to his office over and over again, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Each time, he was more determined to get me to touch on my own. I think I already read that. One day in his office, he sat on the couch, exposing himself to me. There was a new intensity when he said yet again, I want you to touch me. He took hold of my arm and kept saying it over and over. Rachel, I want you to touch me. I realized he wasn't going to let me go until I obeyed, so I did. The next day, Father took me for a ride alone to do some shopping for school. You didn't pass the test yesterday, Father said. Motherfucker. As he was driving, I looked at him confused. What test? I told you to touch me to see if you wanted to, and you did it. That shows me that you have immoral thoughts and desires. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's reverse. Actually, reverse.
So then she writes here, he tells me I must obey him. And now he says he was just testing me? Wow. I
Talk
didn't
about
say a
a
word
mind.
to him.
Whoa.
Talk about a mind fuck.
That's exactly what I was fixing to say. And this is about the only thing that gets me cussing like this. I'm not going to lie. So please forgive
Same.
me, y'all.
Yeah, I'm the same. When it comes to KJ and this,
Mm.
my mouth.
But there's something weird with
I didn't
her
say a
like
word to
this.
him. I just turned my head away to look at the window and I cried silently. Becky, let's pretend we're camping on the mountain, I said to my sister when we were playing in the yard one afternoon. I'll be father and you be my wife. Okay, that's weird. Melanie, Shirley, and Angela, our little sisters, can be our girls. I had to play father because I was the oldest girl playing. Besides, we didn't have any big brothers, only little ones too young to play. Becky went to get her sister to join us, and I started gathering up camping things for our adventures, an old backpack, some play dishes, a blanket. Almost every time we played pretend, we spent more time setting everything up than actually having the adventure. It didn't matter. We thought it was fun, and we stayed out all afternoon until Mother Gloria, Father's third wife, called us in for dinner. I hated to go in and break the spell of a normal childhood, she says, with the quotes.
Oh.
Rachel, do you want me to come? Rachel, do you want to come on a ride with me? Father asked. By this time, I had enough experience that I could sense when he had that fishy feeling about him, and I was afraid to defy him. In the past, when I had disobeyed him, he punished me or withdrew privilege from me. He might take my sisters and brothers on an outing and tell me in front of them, Rachel, you can't come with us. My siblings assumed I had done something naughty, and they would treat me badly for it. That hurt more than what Father did, and I couldn't bear it, so I had to make a choice. To keep my family's goodwill and affection, I had to stay on Father's good side and do what he said. It was worth it to me to have my sister's approval, even if they hadn't the slightest idea of what I was going through. I can't even imagine. Father took me up on a drive up the canyon that day, up to the top of the mountain. When he stopped the car, he said, I need to use the bathroom. I'll have to go in the trees. You come and stand guard. He told me where to stand and walked off a little ways. Rachel, Rachel, come here. Father called out, not a minute later. With dread anchoring my feet, I had to drag myself step by step toward him. I stopped a yard from where he stood. He had his back turned to me, but I could tell he was uncovered. Rachel, come here. I took another tiny step, close enough that he could reach for my arm, and he pulled me around in front of him. There's a bunch of mosquitoes on me right here, Father said, pointing to his genital area. I need you to get them off of me. No. Please, I said, trying to look away. Yes, I need you to, he said. He pushed my head toward his What? He pushed my head toward his
Ugh.
genitals. I was short enough that I didn't have to bend down very far to get them off. I pulled away, but he pulled me back toward him, right down there, get them off. I began to cry, but tried to angle my face away so he wouldn't see. I didn't want him to know. Rachel, if you want to get this over with, you'll have to do what he says. Just do it, and it'll be done. I opened my eyes. My father's intimate parts were right in front of my face. There are no mosquitoes, I said. Yes, there are, he said. Father wasn't going to let me go until I touched him one way or another, so I pretended to brush away the mosquitoes. What a sick, disgusting piece of flying shit.
Oh.
Oh, you didn't get a notification, Brody? I'm sorry. Hey, SD.
And y'all are right. That's why he did send away the boys when they got up to be a certain age, because it became competition for those
Yeah,
old
that's what it
son of a,
was.
you know what. So because the girls are gonna, of course, when they get to be of age that they're interested and they've been groomed like this, you know, they're gonna be sexually interested in the younger boys that are their own age. So they
Yeah,
have to get rid of them so that they can put them with what old pervert they want to.
exactly. So I don't know if that means, okay, so she brushed them away, but it's making me think something else that he told.
Like he wanted her to
Like,
do
can you
something
imagine having the,
else.
what?
Yeah. Like what she mentioned about her face was that at that level, you know what I'm saying? In her mouth, she
Yeah,
kept turning her mouth away. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? What mosquitoes do. It's
yeah.
almost like he was inferring, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because
Yeah.
he's that disgusting.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay, it's all right if you can't, if honestly, if you can't listen anymore, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but you have a great night, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
And of
Earthling, I
course, I
said
always said pictures.
congratulations. Well, I didn't think, I think you
Yeah.
took the dog out, but I just wanted to tell you that's awesome. Keep going.
Yeah, she was praising you big time.
Yeah. I just hit 7 years this past November, so I know
That's
how
amazing.
strong you must be. So just keep going. That's fantastic.
When I was 10, okay, so I don't think they had sex yet. So 8 it started, now she's 10. Father started taking me to bookstores and libraries to show, oh my God, to show her pornography.
Oh, wow.
You have to go to, you have a good night, Dragon. He would
Good
park me in the
night.
children's section, then go back to the store where the adult books were shelved, choose whatever he wanted to show me, and bring it back to me. The other patrons, that looked like a loving father, was simply reading to his child.
Wow.
Rachel, look what men and women do together, or look what men and women do to themselves. Disgusting.
No, yeah, men and women. There wasn't children in that picture. That ought to have been a
No.
tip off. That's what adults do, not children.
Yeah.
But she didn't know. I mean, there's nothing she could do to
No.
fight. He was just too powerful in that cult. They're not going to go against their father and the so-called
Especially
prophet.
if you don't know any better. Yeah, it feels wrong to you, but he's telling you it's right, and that's all you know. Like, you
And
don't
you've
have a
been
choice
told
here.
to obey your whole life, and you
Yeah.
know
Like, you
that
really
his
don't.
word is like actually God. Basically, that's what they're equating him to.
It's fucking bullshit. I feel like I want to reach out to her, just even hug her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's been through it, and she's strong. I got to give her that.
Oh, hell yeah. For writing this,
Yeah.
good for her. If the children's section was busy with other kids, father would have me follow him to a different section of the store, say gardening or earth science, where there weren't any customers around, so he could explain to me how babies are made and born in great detail. Father, I don't want to see. I want you to look at these pictures. Father put his hands on either side of my head and forced me to look. I was embarrassed that the other people in the store could tell I didn't want to look at what he was showing. What? People knew?
And nobody even walked over there?
What the? Father put his hands on either side of my head, forced me to look. I was embarrassed that other people in the store could tell I didn't want to look at it when he was showing me, so I always end up obeying him. Oh, that pisses me off. Many times he would take me back to his office and dress himself in me, and then have us intimate, minus the actual penetration, the positions in the pictures he just showed me. So at 10 years old, he's going for it. Not yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened, but it's going to.
I don't think he ever actually does do that until he marries them or something
Oh, I hope
because
not.
of the pregnancy situation. Now, he might do everything, I think, from what I can remember. Now, I might
Very
be
evil.
wrong, but what he does is he marries them when they're like babies, basically 8 and 9 years old. He took wives, you know what I'm saying? So he could do that to them.
Jesus
But
Christ. Wow.
man, I mean, I don't know if he does that to his own daughter or not, but maybe because of the pregnancy thing, unless he married them off if they got pregnant or something to hide it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. So many times he'd take me back to his office. Okay, undressed, without penetration. The positions in the pictures he'd just show me. I rejoiced every time father got a new wife because with each new marriage he left me alone for a few months. Father married his fourth wife, Brenda Jessup, in the spring of 1993. When he married Monica Sue Jessup, his fifth wife, in September 1995, he left me alone for a good 6 glorious months. I loved those 6 months of freedom, and I loved Mother Monica for keeping him occupied.
Oh.
I spent a lot of time with my sisters during those months, pretending we were camping in the woods in our backyard. One day I said to Becky, let's play like we are Gentiles. And after a while, we turned good. Melanie is your girl, and Shirley and Angela are my girls. Levi, the oldest of our little brothers, can be the preacher who convinces us to mend our ways. We all rolled up our sleeves and leggings to expose our limbs like Gentiles. We set up our homes by making little huts out of branches, and we pretended our bikes were cars for transportation. Let's go on a vacation together, I said. We got on our bikes and rode around the house. We got to the glass door, we got off our bikes and admired our bare arms and legs in the reflection. It didn't occur to us that anybody inside the house could see us. We hopped back on our bikes and headed back to our huts in the woods. 2 minutes later, Mother Barbara came out. Father wants you to put on your pajamas for having bare arms and legs. But, Mother, I said, we were about to turn good. Levi was going to teach us about the gospel. Do what Father says. We went into the house to put on our pajamas. While we changed, Mother Barbara answered a phone call. Father wants you girls to walk over to his office, she said. Oh, fuck. Please no, we said. There were lots of people at the school. It was late summer and the teachers were getting their classrooms ready. We'd be humiliated, parading around in our pajamas in the middle of the day. But as always, disobeying was not an option. Father's older brother, Leroy Jeffs, was in his office when we arrived. I was embarrassed that Uncle Leroy saw us in our pajamas. Have a seat, Father said, monitoring to the chairs in front of his desk. I'm going to spank you because you know what you did and what you were doing was wrong. Why would you ever want to be like the Gentiles? They are filthy and immoral. This is why they go naked. That is why they go naked. Father picked up a yardstick and spanked me first, since I was the oldest, then Becky, then Melanie. You should be grateful that you are part of a priesthood, Father said when he was done. How long have I been on here? Should we continue? I'm on chapter 3 right now. Let me see how long it is. It's not too bad. Okay, I'll read one more chapter. This one is called Mind Games. Get up, girls, Father said one morning, flipping on the light in our bedroom, and then kept walking down the hall. But we're so tired, Becky said. We both fell immediately back to sleep. Father came back in a few minutes later and saw that we were still in bed. He reached for the light switch and flicked it off without saying a word. Good, I can sleep a little longer, I thought. After a few minutes, Becky got up and turned the light on. We better get up, Rachel. We have school. We were in fourth grade that year. Father walked by again and turned off the light. Okay, I guess we can sleep a little longer, Becky said, yawning and laying back down. After another 10 minutes, it was my turn to get up and switch the light on, but Father was back again in a flash to turn it off. Maybe there's no school today, I said, laying back down. Becky and I had both fallen back asleep when Mother Barbara walked into her room. Girls, school has already started. You're late. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes. Father kept turning off the light, so we figured he wanted us to sleep. You can at least get up and help me with the dishes, Mother Barbara said. We got dressed and went to the kitchen, working quickly to wipe down the counters and load the dishwasher. The day looked temptingly sunny and warm, and we wanted to get outside as we could. The phone rang, Mother answered, and said yes and no a few times and hung up. Father wants you to go to school. But we're late now. Why did he keep turning our light off? I don't know, but get your books and get going. I could tell Mother Barbara felt bad for us, but she was afraid of disobeying Father as we were. On the way to school, I had an idea. Let's walk really slow, Becky, so we don't get there until it's time for recess. Then we can slip in, put our books on our desk, and it will be like we were there all along when everyone comes back inside. So we dawdled, stopping to look at the dogs in the kennels and the chickens in the coop. 5 minutes before recess, we hurried to our classroom. Our teacher, our teacher, Aura Steed Jeffs, was there helping a student with homework. Aura was one of grandfather's wives, and she was very beautiful. Father was very fond of her and often had her in his office for long private meetings. After grandfather died about 8 years later, father married her as well as a number of grandfather's other wives. Why don't you girls go outside with the other children? Mrs. Jeff said. Out on the lawn in the back of the school, our classmates were playing Steal the Flag, and we joined right in, but in no time, Mrs. Jeffs came out to get us. Your father wants to see you. We followed Mrs. Jeffs upstairs to the office. I want you to give these girls an F on their attitude and behavior reports today, Father said to her. To us, he said, you are the principal's daughters and should set a good example for other students. But today, you set a very bad example by being late. We both said okay and followed Miss Chaps out. We were barely back in the classroom when Father summoned us back to his office. You girls are expelled from school. What? Talk about mind games. You were not only late and set a bad example, but you don't act like you even feel bad about it. Gather up your school books and go home. You can't come back to school until I say so. Father isn't thinking straight, I thought. I didn't dare say so to Becky, but I had a feeling she thought the same thing. That night, there was a fire at Uncle Ron's house, and Father was called away to help the family. I had a feeling the distraction and lack of sleep would work in our favor, and with that in mind, the next morning I said to Becky, I bet Father forgot he expelled us. Let's just go to school. Becky and I were seated at our desks promptly by 7:15, and school proceeded as if nothing ever happened. The next time Father called me to his office during school, it was to admonish me for something completely different. Your teacher tells me that 2 boys in your class are paying special attention to you. He sounds like a jealous boyfriend.
Yes.
You must not encourage it. The worst thing that can happen is to let a boy touch you. Do you understand? Yes, Father, I said. Someone was lifting me from my bed. What's happening? Shh, shh. Rachel, you're okay, Father said as he stood me up. I could barely see him in the darkness. He should have been doing night watch for grandfather. The other girls were sleeping. Come with me, Father said, taking my arm and leading me into the hall and upstairs to the living room. The house was silent. You act like you haven't been feeling well lately, Father said as he sat me on the couch and took me in his hands. I thought I would rub on you a little bit. He laid me on the floor and lifted my nightgown. Something inside my heart broke. You can go back to bed, Father said, when he was finished doing what he wanted to do with me. I fled to my mother's room where I knew I was safe. I sat carefully on the edge of her bed, trying not to disturb her, but I began to cry and she woke up. What happened? Why are you crying? I didn't dare tell her. I couldn't imagine what Father would say or do to her or me. Rachel, you will tell me what happened now. I couldn't catch my breath from crying. All I could say at first was, Father, did he hurt you? Tell me. I finally calmed down enough to tell her that he'd been touching me and making me do things to him. I didn't even know how to describe it. My mother's lips pinched together. I could see she was furious. That is not okay, she said, got out of bed and walked out of the room. I heard her walk downstairs to Father's bedroom. I lay on Mother's sofa awake all night, listening to the sounds of the house. Mother didn't return until morning, and when she did, she went about her routine as usual. She never spoke of what I had said to her again, and I never found out what Father said to her, but whatever it was, it served to silence her.
What? What the F?
Hey, Benita.
Seriously? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm just saying, if your kid comes,
She clearly knew it was wrong. She clearly was frustrated. She clearly was upset, and yet nothing's
she
done.
didn't, like, she got upset enough to go out of the bedroom to go have a powwow with him all night long.
I wonder what he said. Probably threatening something to do
He
with
probably
taking the
threatened
children
to
away,
either
or
kill her or to leave her and him keep
yeah,
the kids there with him, and she would be not able to be around them or to protect them.
yeah. That's what I think too.
Dadgummit.
I stayed close to Becky all that day, which we spent building cities and roads and mountains on the sandbox. I was spared Father's attentions for about a week before he summoned me again. The only difference was that from then on, he would say, you don't need to tell your mother or anyone else about this. So she did say something.
She definitely said something, but still, man, dang. I mean, I know that they have to be so mind controlled to even stand that thing
Yeah,
like that, but still, I mean, it's just like to
that's your baby.
protect my baby is innate. Like, I swear I would kill if
Same.
somebody, you know what I'm saying? I just
Oh, Jesus. Trigger warning. One day when I was 11 years old, and Father had me naked in his office while he touched me, he said, Rachel, do you ever look at yourself in the mirror when you are undressed? I looked at him, his hands between my legs, after a few silent seconds and said, yes, of course. I'm sure you get curious about how your body is changing and what it looks like, but it's wrong for a girl to look at her changing body in the mirror, Father said. That's wrong, but not you touching her, motherfucker. Really?
right.
Um,
In other
your
words,
body's not.
he's even trying to convince her that her own body's not hers. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? Like, that's even saying, like,
He
you don't
just
have the
said,
right over your own body.
he just said that your body is not for you.
Oh! See?
Good call. Your body's sacred and it's changing so you can become a mother. Oh no. You must never look at yourself in the mirror when you get undressed. I ignored him and continued to look at my undressed body in the mirror. If nothing else, it was hard not to, since the bathtub was smack in front of the mirror. Sometimes he took me to the school library instead of his office. He would undress me and then have me turn around so he could look at me and touch me all over, saying, "See, Rachel, I would never hurt you." As I got older, father would increasingly insist that I undress for him rather than make him do it, but I often refused, so he would undress me himself. Once in his office, after he had me undressed and then undressed himself in the closet, he had me lie on the ground with my butt up and my head to the floor.
Whoa.
He lay on top of me naked. I was terrified that he was going to commit adultery with me, but he was careful not to cross that line. He never went inside me with his penis, only with his fingers.
I
For
figured that.
fuck's sake.
Like that bastard like planned this out to the point that he knew
Oh, yeah.
exactly to what to take it to, so that if they told, it wouldn't come back that any penetration had happened, so that if they said anything they wouldn't even believe them.
It was penetration, whether it was a penis or a
Well, you
finger,
know
you
what
know
I'm
what I
saying,
mean?
but
But
you
I
know what
don't
I mean.
think, yeah,
In other
but
words,
not
if their
his ass.
hymen would be intact is what I'm trying to say, because he was
Exactly.
careful to use his finger, and I'm sure was a little bit more careful, so that, you know what I'm saying, if anybody ever reported, if they were
He
to be seen, then that wouldn't be the
he'd never
case.
get, yeah, he wouldn't
Yeah.
get caught then for
What a psychopath.
his. People around father began to wonder why he seemed to favor my company far more than any of his other children. Mother Annette said to me, "Rachel, why don't you ask father to take some of the other girls instead of you all the time?" No. One
Bless her
evening in
heart.
May 1995, father asked Mother Brenda if she would tend the children while he took his other ladies to a late dinner being served at the school. My older sisters, Mary Ann and Sandra, were going to help serve the meal, which meant I could be the oldest child at home. This was not the first time father had taken his other ladies. Some were special and left Mother Brenda behind. She couldn't protest to father, so she took it out on us children. That night, after father and the other mothers left, I decided it would be wise to stay out of Mother Brenda's way. As soon as we girls finished cleaning up after dinner, I pulled Becky aside. "Let's go play in the woods." We snuck our pillows outside and climbed the tallest tree in the yard. We each perched on a high branch above the wall that encircled our property, using our pillows as seat cushions. "I love it up here," I said. "You can see everything." As my sisters Angela, Shirley, and Melanie were all trying to climb the tree behind us, I heard Brenda yell from inside, "You girls get out of that tree. Come inside for family prayer. It's time for bed." "It seems way too early for bed," I said. "The sun is still up." "Let's stay out here a little longer," Becky said. We talked about the mountains and the neighbor boy playing ball down the street and enjoyed the feeling of the breeze in her hair. "I'm going to tell father that you were disobeying Mother." Brenda was yelling now. "I guess she's pretty mad," I said. "We better go in." We climbed down with our pillows and went inside, ran to the living room, got on our knees, and circled for prayer. The stern look on Mother Brenda's face struck us kind of funny. We closed our eyes as we were supposed to, but we struggled not to giggle as she began saying the prayer. Suddenly, our brother Mosiah ran in and jumped into the middle of the circle and ripped a big fart.
Yay.
Expression.
I love that kid.
Ripped a big fart. Okay.
I bet Mother Brenda loved that.
Oh, right. And the fact that he was near the girls, holy
Oh
shit.
yeah, he ripped a fart and he was around the girls.
So he
he,
went to the
he
middle of
had
the circle and ripped a big
he had to
fart.
get it out somehow or another.
Oh my God. Then she says, "That was no match for the smothered giggles of five silly girls." Pretended to cough to cover up my laughter. I heard Becky clear her throat with the same intent. I didn't dare peek at her for fear I'd burst into open laughter. Mother Brenda finished the prayer without saying amen. She looked around the circle, furious. She grabbed Becky by the back of the neck. "All of you children go to bed now." She dragged Becky off to our room. She was always hardest on Becky, even though we were all equally guilty of disrespecting her. I wouldn't understand until I was in polygamous marriage myself that Brenda was probably jealous of Mother Annette as father's first wife, so she took it out on Annette's daughter, Becky. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us followed behind. I joined Becky and Melanie and Shirley and went next door to their room, while Angela went to lie on the bed in Mother Annette's room. Becky opened our window, picked up a book, stuck her head out, and began singing, when upon life's billows. Shirley opened their window, stuck her head out, and began singing along with Becky. Then Melanie and I joined in. Meanwhile, Mother Brenda went to check on Angela and found her on the phone, trying to call Father to complain that we had been sent to bed too early. That's when Brenda heard us singing. When we got to the chorus, we started really belting it out. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Brenda came storming into her room, grabbed Becky by her hair, pulled her in front of the window, pulled her from the window. I jumped down onto my bed before she could grab me. Brenda stuck her head out our window and yelled over to Shirley, who was hanging out her bedroom window, I'm going to spank you. Then, turning her attention back to us, as she shoved Becky over to her bed and smacked her across the face. Father's going to hear about this, she snarled. Becky was playing tough and wouldn't cry, but I did. I hate you, I yelled. Mother Brenda looked at me shocked. I was not the kind of child who would say something like that, but at the moment, I meant it for what she had done to Becky. I could tell Mother Brenda felt my words clear to her heart by the look on her face as she turned to walk out of the room. Father called the whole family together the next morning. The Lord said, when you sin in public, you should be punished publicly. I got a report last night that you girls sinned in public by disobeying the mother I left to tend to you. And then were disrespectful and rude. I want all the mothers and children to see how wrong you were. Father picked up a yardstick. Becky, you will receive your punishment first because you were the most disobedient. Come here. Becky stepped over to him, and he began whacking her legs. She wouldn't cry, so Father hit her harder. She still wouldn't cry. You're playing tough, eh, girl? Well, we'll see. Father continued hitting her harder and harder until snap. The yardstick broke, but Becky didn't break. Mother Annette started to cry and walked out of the room. I turned my head to look at the window so I wouldn't have to watch his father spank Melanie, Shirley, and Angela in age order. Then Father turned to me. I'm not going to spank you because you are now too old for me to spank, but I want you to know that I'm very disappointed in you. To the family, it probably looked like he was playing favorites, since Becky and I were the same age, but I knew in my heart it was because of what he did to me in secret. Father liked to reserve his punishment for me when I disobeyed him until then. Now we're on chapter 4, but I'm going to read this next time, and it's called Rebellion. I hope this means she rebelled.
I hope so too. Man, that's so sick. The fact that just all the stuff that those kids had to go through, and the women that should be protecting them. I mean, she's like going in and abusing them in a different way. I mean, she's not molesting them, but she's
physically, though.
Yeah,
because of jealousy.
Abusive. Yeah.
Think about that. You're jealous. Like, come on, man.
Not only that, the very same stuff that he was sitting there and broke their yardstick on them for, the very stuff he called them out for doing is what he was doing himself to them. And I'm like, okay, so why don't we take the words from you and let's do to you what you did to your kids and use a big old huge wooden plank and beat your ass in the public square until somebody breaks it over you.
And that's like with the turning off the light too. The kids didn't know whether they had to get up or not. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Clearly, he wanted them to get in shit and wanted to punish them. Like, that's just disgusting. It's disgusting as it is, but like, come on.
Sadistic. That's the word. He is a sadist. Sadistic. That is what he is. Yeah. That
hey,
man.
Aesop, good to see you.
Oh,
yeah, man. All in the name of religion, mental and emotional abuse too.
Yeah, that to me makes it even like I'm pissed more because he did it in the name of religion. Because I'm just saying, like, I was 27 before I ever had a relationship with God or anything like that. So I wasn't raised in church. So I didn't have that growing up at all. But I'm just saying, like, I can see how people who are raised in church and they're brainwashed and done wrong like this, how it would be so hard for them to believe that God is a loving father because the father that they've had on this earth has been so shitty.
Right. Yeah.
And then they do it in the name. He does it in the name of God, which makes them resent whoever is God. You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially they're saying, well, God wants this. I'm the prophet of God. And he's telling me
and he's telling me to do this to you. And then that way it takes the blame off of them so that they'll blame God, not him.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly
ever. Oh, there is I'm just saying there is a place reserved in hell with his name like engraved on it.
She says that's how people become atheists.
Like, I think it can make people do one or two. I think it'll make people actually, well, in my case, because it wasn't
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it does. But
not that I was in a cult or anything.
Right. I was going to say
experience.
Well, mine was Masonic, but I'm saying
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah, yours
religious.
is
You know what I'm
really
saying?
bad.
But it wasn't religious. So therefore, thank God I had no preconceived notion
Yeah.
about it either way. So in other words, it left me open, thank God. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That I
Yeah.
can have faith in my life. Because I'll tell you right now, without it, there's no way I could be sitting here talking on this live tonight after just burying my son
Yeah,
3 weeks
you
ago.
really,
And
yeah,
it's my faith.
exactly.
I'm just going to be honest. It is. And I'm not saying
Yep.
everybody has to believe what I believe. I'm just saying
No, but
that.
you're like, it's like you're like really proud of it and you're really into it and it really helps you. And that's amazing. I'm
and it
jealous because I
and
wish
it's
I
not
had that.
negative. I've never
Yes.
ever had a negative experience. I thank God. I've only been to two churches in my whole life. I've raised all my kids in like the same two churches with the same kids. My daughter is
Yeah.
graduating a
See,
year early,
that sounds amazing.
homeschooled, like from the fifth grade because she didn't want to be bullied. She didn't want to be around public school because she had a good,
Yeah.
sweet little heart. And she was like, I'm not acting like that. And I didn't have the money to send her to private school. I wish I could have. But the
Yeah.
next thing for us would be homeschool. It was the best. And she is so smart. Like I said, graduating a year early with honors, got already accepted into nursing school. Like,
That's
I'm so
amazing.
proud of her. And she works full
Yeah.
time. And like, and honestly, all of her friends she's grown up with at church. Like,
Yeah.
my other friend who didn't want me to homeschool her because she didn't homeschool her daughter, and our daughter wanted to be homeschooled, but she was like, "Oh, I think that she could be socially awkward." And honestly, my daughter is more socially, like, she's never at home. Like, I have to make an appointment to see her because she's always running and doing stuff, and she's like going
Yeah.
on church retreats all the time and going places. Like, they go to Orlando every year with their fine arts competition. Like, they do all kind of
That's
stuff, and
awesome.
it's like a positive thing. She's got a boyfriend, and like they've been dating for like 2 years now, and he is actually one of the pastor's like nephews or whatever. But like they're a
Yeah.
really good family. So like I'm just so
Good.
thankful. So some people have positive experiences, and then I know
Yeah.
there are those though that are horrible, and when they're bad, they're really bad.
That's the
And
thing.
it's
When they're bad, you can't forgive that. You can't give the same thing, and even though it's not the same person or the same church, you can't give it another chance. You just can't.
right,
It's like,
because it's like something's been
no.
broken already, you
Yeah.
know,
Broken.
and
That's a good word.
yeah, and what I say about it sometimes are people when they find their way back sometimes and they learn, that that was not the true what they were being told
Yeah.
was a lie, and it was for a reason. And it was to keep
Yeah.
them from having the peace and the love of God because they want them to feel empty and alone and,
Yes.
have all these problems. And so many kids, honestly, I feel like if they could find the true love in God that I know, that has never left me high and dry, never left me without. I'm talking times that I didn't have money to eat. I would just go to the grocery store on faith and there'd be $20 blown across the parking lot, kind of crazy stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
even the house that we're in, like literally I had no credit. We were being thrown out of our rental house during COVID because they were selling our house. And I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. Like God worked it out in the matter of 2 months. We bought a house and closed on it.
That's amazing. I'm
Like
sorry
there's
you went
just
through that.
but I mean, that's why I have faith because I've seen it at work.
Yeah.
So,
Like you're
like,
one of the
I
lucky
understand.
ones, I
So,
think.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I understand totally because before it happened to me and I had the experiences that I did, like, I didn't see anything like that. I was into all kind of stuff, y'all. I was looking into Wiccan. I was looking into vampirism.
Mm.
Like, I sat and interviewed a vampire, like at my work. I worked for Orkin and I interviewed an actual vampire with a casket in the next room with the door open where I could see it. And I was like 23 years old and
Oh my
literally sit
God.
in the house with him alone because I was there to do a pest control working for Orkin. And I'm interviewing this vampire like we're on some kind of a Nightline news story or something.
That was
Yeah.
so
But
weird.
I was so intrigued though. I was like, well, tell me, like, do you go out and
Yeah.
like, suck the blood of people against their will? He's like, no,
Do you
everybody's
kill people
willing.
or do
Right.
people like give you their blood? Like,
Yeah.
what do you
They're
do? Like,
willing
do you
participants. Like,
have to sleep during the day?
yes.
Do you really burn in the sun?
Exactly. I'm asking him all these questions. And he's sitting there
Oh
and
my
like
God.
just
Is the only
answering
way
them
for you
all.
to die is by driving a stake through your heart or cutting your head
Right.
off? Like, oh yeah,
Like
I'd be
if you
sitting
come
there
toward
asking and
me,
asking.
like, am I gonna need to like jab you in the jugular? Will that work? or through the heart. What's it going to take?
Yeah. Am I safe around you? Are you gonna eat
Right.
me? Are you
I
gonna
was
drain me
thinking,
blood?
I was thinking that. I'm not
Oh,
kidding. I was thinking he's keeping me here
oh,
for
I
a long
would.
reason. And he gave me like actually a pen and a pencil that they had with the Vampire Nation or
Oh,
whatever he
wow.
belonged to with it on there. And I brought it home and I showed it to my now husband. We were just dating at the time, but we lived together at the time. And it was he was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Yeah, I went to this guy's house today to sell pest control, and he was a vampire. Like there was a coffin in there. He slept in it and everything. And he was like, and you stayed and talked to him."
Right? I would have
And
been like, bye.
I was like, well, I was really interested to know, like, what the heck they do.
I think I'd be scared, but then again, it would depend on the person, like how they acted towards me. And
Yeah,
I
like
think if
I
they were
kind of got, I
decent
did
enough,
get a,
yeah.
I got a little bit of a weird vibe off of him, but I think that my
Yeah.
interest in what the situation was like the curiosity could have killed the cat kind of thing. I think I was more
Yeah.
interested in wanting to know what the heck was going on than my concern. I felt like I could kick his butt if I needed to. Honestly, that is what I thought because
Yeah.
I was taller than him and like I was pretty strong because I was a clogger. So like I feel like I could have like probably gotten away. Like
Yeah.
we were sitting in the den, like, and I was right beside the door. So I do feel like
Oh,
if I
okay.
needed to run, that I could. But looking back, it was really stupid. Like I would never do that now. Like with my wisdom, of the age
Yeah.
I am now. But I was very young and naive, I think, and had
I
no
think I'm
clue.
still like that. That's why I'm still learning. Even though I'm 39, I feel like
You're
and
still a
sometimes I
baby.
feel like I'm 16. Yeah, I'm still a baby. I'm still learning. And there's things that I say and do that are wrong. And I don't get offended when people tell me that. I just feel more ashamed. It's like, damn, I should have known that. But I'm still
Nah,
learning.
look, I'm 52 and I still do dumb stuff all the time. You have no idea.
Oh my God.
Like
I do. I can't. Oh, I'm just, I don't
I'm
know.
just
It's who
like
I've always been.
I put a thing on my Facebook today. It was like, sometimes I feel like my mind runs away from me, and sometimes I feel like I completely
Yeah.
just lose it at all. I don't have it at all. Like, especially lately, it's been like that. Like, I don't even know what day it
Yeah.
is. I think I've showered
Today's
once.
Wednesday,
you know,
right? For
I
sure
think it is
today.
Wednesday. Is today Wednesday?
Today is, I think
Yeah,
well, I
it's
hope so,
Wednesday.
because I'm pretty sure I have to go to the hospital to see my Grams tomorrow.
Uh
Okay, it
oh,
is Wednesday.
she's in the
Yeah,
hospital.
it's not
Oh,
good. That's why
I'm
I haven't been
sorry.
around. So I have to go. I don't, not saying like, oh my God, I have
No,
to
I know
go.
what you
No, I
mean.
want to
No,
go,
well, you
but
want to
I'm
see her,
going
but it's
tomorrow.
sad to go. Yeah. It's sad to be it's
It's just,
scary.
it sucks. She
Yeah.
went in for a knee issue and now she's never coming home and she doesn't even know my name. I'm scared that I'm going to go there and she might throw me out tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh, bless her heart.
Dementia is just an awful disease
Oh, is that what she's got?
and Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my husband's grandma had
That's
that.
why when I remember telling my subs and everybody I was bragging about this ring, something told me the reason why she gave it to me so early is because she knew she was going. Like, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't remember. I told you guys a couple months ago that this is the ring that I received from her. And I'm glad I
oh,
did because I've always had bad luck and I've always, 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 always loved this ring. It's a
hmm,
horseshoe,
yeah.
all diamonds, and it's just I've
It's
always loved this ring
beautiful
and I
too.
told her since I was what, 5, I believe she
Hmm.
said, I want this ring when you die, not realizing that was completely rude as hell, but that's
Well,
what
you
I
were a
said. And she
kid. Yeah,
remembered that. Yeah, she didn't take it like that, but
yeah,
she gave it to me and gave Melissa, my sister, a ring as well. And I'm thinking, well, why the fuck are you giving it? Oh shit. And when she knows something's wrong, she knows
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's weird. My grandma gave me her wedding ring before she passed away. Like before she even went in
Yeah.
the hospital. And she went in the hospital for just from stomach problems. And then they found out she
Yeah,
had
mine went in for a knee problem because she had
yeah,
her knee was broken years ago and she had surgery on it years and years ago and now it was bugging her. I'm telling you, she went in and she
yeah.
completely like that. I don't even
That's
know
what
who she is anymore.
my nanny did the same thing. And she went in there and like and she died like 9 days after my birthday. And then my other grandmother died the same day, just a different year. And my mom died 9 days after my birthday, just a different year. Like I hate that time of the year.
Mhm.
It's so weird. Like it's bizarre
And what
that
I
all
hate is it always comes in threes. So
yeah,
I'm just
you're
like,
right.
great. And
Yeah,
I'm really
because
scared. Like my dad, I'm not close to them anymore. He called me the other night and then he called me today, but he's calling me from a private number, so I can't call him back. And he keeps leaving messages on my answer machine that are scaring the fuck out of me because he's like, so I've just been really stressed. He's like, there, what do you say? He goes, you need to call me back before it's too late and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm dealing with my
Oh,
grand, dealing with him now. And I'm just like, fuck, like, I can't
so
just
like
go
now
lie and
you're
pretend everything's
worried
okay.
that yeah, and now that you're worried that something could be going on with your dad, like if
It
he's
always happens in threes. It does,
right.
always. It always does.
Yeah, my son passed away, and then I found out last night one of my like, well, I basically I worked for her mom. Remember, I told you I worked for like a sugar and spice store, and I sold the lady parts. I mean, well, for the lady
Yeah.
parts, you know. But anyway, so her granddaughter, which is like my family, they took me in like their own. She offed herself 2 days after her birthday, and it was like
Oh my
yesterday.
God.
So her mom is just like all lost and just
Yeah,
she
mess.
she's a mess. And that little girl, like she was so sweet and beautiful growing up. I just remember her like when she was just a
Yeah.
little tiny girl, and she's my son's age exactly. Like they played together growing up,
Now they're
and
both gone.
now they're both gone within like a month.
That's what I mean. Like it's bad enough you get one. Why you got
Yeah,
to make it three? Why does it always
exactly.
have to be
It
three?
does happen in threes. Is weird.
I don't like it. So I'm thinking Grams, then my dad. Now who is it? Who's the third? This is gonna kill me. So I don't know. Like
Maybe it'll be just somebody that's not very close, or you don't really. Maybe it's just like a far, far distant relation that won't affect you much
I hope
because
so, because like I am close with my dad. I say I'm not. I'm meaning like I don't see him often. Like
yeah.
we talk all the time and stuff.
But that doesn't mean you don't love him
Uh,
just because you don't see him all the time. I mean, as we get
no, I
older,
know.
we've
I
got
just
responsibilities, and have kids and our own lives. And, it's
I
just,
know I have to go see my Grams tomorrow because something's telling me I don't have much time. Like I was talking to my mom and I'm like, don't lie to me. I'm like, I already know. She's like, no, what? I said, Grams isn't coming home. I said, don't lie to me. I already know. I can feel it. And I always know when someone's gonna die. I always have that feeling, and then I always have the nightmare. Every time. Sure enough,
because
I
we
did. I said,
talked
don't.
about you being empathic too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
About
told her,
like
I said,
having
don't
that.
lie to me. And I said, don't lie to yourself. We all know. I said, we know. I know she's not coming home. And I know you do too. And if you don't know, you better get used to it. And I was really mean and I feel bad, but I was just like, she's not coming home. She's
Well,
like, she finally admitted to me today. And I
she
was like,
might
I
have
already knew
needed
that.
that, but she might have needed that from you even to pull herself into it so she can get ready.
Oh, she's so angry. Oh my God, my mom is. I'm just like, I get it. Uh, but she's going through a lot. Her mom's dying, you know what I mean? She goes and
You're
sees her
right.
twice a day. Like it's a lot of fucking work.
And then when you watch
Especially when you
your
go in
own
there and
mom
your own
decline,
mom don't know your name.
right, that's a lot to deal with. Because, I mean, think about
And
that
my
for a minute.
grandmother is very bitchy, like
Well, because she
especially
can't help
now.
it, she doesn't know. I mean, they almost
Yeah,
revert back to childlike,
my mom
because
thinks I won't be able to handle it because I'm an emotional person as it is. But I don't care. I'm going. I have to see my gramps. There's no way in hell I'm
yeah,
going to be able to live with myself if she's gone and I don't get to say goodbye. And same with my son. I'm not bringing him tomorrow, but I told my son, I said, I'm going to go see Grams tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm going to make the decision whether I
whether
was like,
yeah,
how do you feel? Do you think that you should go? Like, I'm going to explain to you what's going on and how I felt it was. And if you feel comfortable, I don't want him to go, I don't want him to not see her before she
right.
dies.
You want
I don't
him to
know if
be
I'm doing the right
prepared
thing.
though, but you want to,
Yeah, but I want
so
him to be
you're going to go
prepared.
check
Like,
it out first so that you
yeah,
react. And if it breaks you or wrecks you,
it's going
then
to
you
break me.
might
I
have
already
to
know
make a
that.
call as a mom. You'll have to, but
Well,
how
that's what
old
I'm
is he
saying, but I
again?
don't want him to not go because then what if I'll live with
He
regrets.
lives to
He might have
regret.
regrets.
Yeah, right. I think if he's
Even just to go in
older,
there and say, hold her hand and say, even though he shouldn't, like, I love you, I'll always love you, blah, blah, blah,
you're right.
whatever. At least he gets to say his goodbye because I can't hold that from him. It's not my
And
decision.
even if
He's
you
12 years
explain
old.
to him, say, look, even if she's bitchy to you, say, don't take it personal because, she's
Yeah.
got a mind, something's going on in her mind, and she doesn't know what she's saying, honestly. And just
She told
explain that to
my
him.
my sister, she told my mom to tell my other sister to get the fuck out of there. She didn't want her.
Oh,
You get
gosh.
her out of here now. And I'm like, oh, she
Oh,
never
wow.
swears. She goes to church. She's not a swear. I guess every other word out of her mouth is fuck. It's like, oh
Well,
my God.
she's probably had it. She's
Whoa.
like, You know what I'm saying?
She
Think
told
about
my
it.
uncle to go in the fridge and get a beer because Grandpa might have one in there. So my grandpa's been gone since 2008 and she's been in
Oh,
the
well,
hospital.
Nikki, I'm gonna be
And I'm
honest with
just
you. Then
like,
I'm
what?
gonna be praying
Fuck.
for you because if she's already seeing things like that, like a lot of times when
Yeah,
people before they go, they start
they
seeing people
see.
who passed
I
away,
know.
that, like
I
in the
believe Grandpa's
spiritual
there. I
realm.
do believe that. I believe he's waiting for her. I believe she has seen him, and that means there's not enough time. So I have to go tomorrow. I'm gonna go Friday anyways because I
I
don't
got the
think she's that
chills. I got
long.
the chills talking about it. So
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think she
pray for
has
you. I
much
am
time.
because I'm just gonna ask that you have peace. I know that you don't have the same faith I do, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't stop me praying for you, and that
Yeah, and that
that
no,
those prayers aren't gonna
please
work. Yeah,
do. Because it
yeah,
may, you know what, it probably would help me even, you know what I mean? No, I don't, if you, like, if people believe, like, even Deb said to me earlier, I know, she goes, and yes, I'm praying for you. Like,
yeah.
suck it up.
Like I respect
So I'm
you.
praying for you.
Like I do.
And it's
I
like, no,
respect
it's
you.
okay.
I respect you, but I
I'm
love you and
glad.
I believe in it. So I'm going to do it because I'm going to believe that God's going to give you peace that is going to surpass
Yeah.
understanding and going to help you and help you strengthen yourself through this so that if it is your dad next,
I feel
you know
like
what I'm
I
saying?
already
He's
am,
going to help
even though
you.
I'm not there. I feel like I'm gonna walk away because I'm not gonna be able to handle it, but I'm gonna come back. And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna be stronger. And then something
Yeah.
tells me I think I'm gonna be okay.
You're going to be
Now,
okay.
but now if my father goes, oh my God, like I don't know what I'm gonna do because
But listen, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? And I'm just going to tell you
yeah, that's
that
what
you're going to
Kanye
be
said anyway.
okay. Yeah, that's right, Kanye. He's been telling it like it is lately, right? So just like, just look on the bright side of things. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be some
I
hard
know.
crap. It is. And know that
It's
you
just
have,
hard to go live and pretend like everything's fine. So I've kind
you
of
don't
been
have
like,
to. You don't have to. You
yeah.
don't have to. Look, sometimes you can go in there and cry if you want to. I'll come on here and cry with you if you'd like. I'm good at that
Yeah.
lately.
But
Not for
that's
real
why I
though.
haven't been live, and I feel like I'm neglecting my audience by not going live. So I've been doing videos. At least I can, that way I don't have to stop and talk,
Right.
and then nobody asks me questions, and I don't have to talk. You know what I mean? So
And
I'm
then you
like,
don't
okay, I
break
can do a
down
video.
or anything like that.
That's
Like
why.
it, yeah. Because when
So
you're in grief,
tomorrow,
you never know.
I
Like one
don't
minute,
think I'll be going live because I don't
yeah.
think I'll be okay.
Well, I think everybody understands that because everybody loves
Well,
you.
nobody
And
knew what was really going on. I didn't even tell my closest friends. I just
well,
said
now you
that I
have.
was sick
So,
and or that I was busy or I just lied.
well, that's because you probably
I
didn't
don't
even
know
want to have to
why. I
face it.
just
You didn't want to have to face it yourself. I mean, look, it
yeah.
is hard to face. And listen, I'm still in the denial part. I think I am. And I
Well, you
think,
just lost your son. That's even, I'm sorry, but that's even worse than what I'm going through because that's your baby.
yeah, like, it's bad. Like earlier today,
Like
I'm
you
not going to
never
lie, it
get a
was
damn
bad.
break.
No, it really I feel like I haven't.
You
Like,
don't. Like every time I'm
no.
talking to you, it's this, that, this, third. I'm like, holy shit. And she believes in God. Oh, I would have
Yes.
gave up by now.
Oh, no, that's why I do, because, like, here's the crazy thing, like, literally, I wrote it down and I even took a picture of it. My son, his last boarding pass, because I told you he was a deep sea fisherman, remember? And he was up in Canada
Yeah.
fishing. And he was the one
Yeah.
that's my baby that I was so close to, like mama's boy, for real, like 6'5" and mama's boy. And so, like, his plane pass was found on the floor, like, after he passed away. But it was so weird because I felt like the Lord was trying to tell me something, and my Bible was sitting over there, and I just kept getting this unction to pick it up. So I picked it up, and it actually opened to Job in the Bible, and that talks about, like, Job was tested by Satan because he was so favored by God, and he lost all of his children, all of his crops, all of his things. And
Yeah.
his wife tried to get him to curse God. He refused to curse God. So God gave him back everything tenfold. And listen, your kids can't be replaced, but I do have the hope
Mm.
that I am going to see him again. Like, I know there is no doubt in my
I
mind.
think we do.
He just got
Believing in God or
rebaptized.
not,
Like,
I do believe in spirits and I do believe we see our
yeah,
loved ones again. I
we
really do.
continue on. Like, this earthly body, it does perish, but
Yeah.
our spirit continues on.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love the way that we got to put him to rest. It was like what's intended. And I didn't even know they allowed that here because I thought I was going to have to cremate him. And I just couldn't stand the thought of that, honestly. Even though I did that with my dad, it's just different with your child.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's this place I found. It's called Dust to Dust. Okay. And they
Yeah.
build like these Amish coffins, kind of like they're made out of wood, and they don't
Yeah.
embalm or anything like that. They just put them in the ground in the wooden coffin like they did for centuries and centuries. And
Yeah.
it was only $2,500, like, for the base price. and like it's affordable. And also you
Yeah, and
get
it sounds better
hot.
than the embalming and all
Yeah,
that shit. Just let
and
them
it's
be.
very peaceful. They don't allow like plastic
Yeah.
flowers. Everything's very natural. Like you can decorate your 10 by 12 area and put like river rocks or stones around it and make your
I
own
like
like
that.
headstone. It's really cool. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a cemetery at all. Like my youngest
Yeah.
daughter said, I could come hang out here for like hours. Like it's right
Yeah.
beside a farm and it's very peaceful. So, and God like prepared me literally the night before. I was on a live until 4 a.m. with other grieving mothers praying with them. I'm not even kidding. And little did I know
Mm.
within 5 hours that my son would be falling in the door telling me that he found his brother in the bed, passed
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
at 31. I mean, it's just like you don't expect that. And
No, no,
honestly,
you're not supposed to they're not supposed to go before us.
no, that's out of order for sure. But he had
It
such a
is.
heart for God and he wrote music and he sang and like on my Facebook, if y'all look on my community section, I've got a bunch of pictures of him on there and some of his music and this song that he wrote me about. Um, he said, "You're so beautiful, Mama," and I'm
Oh,
thankful that you're my mom or something. And then he said, "I'm thankful that you taught me to pray. Because, oh, I know one day the good Lord will take you home. Thank you for teaching me to pray so I'll never have to live this life alone." And like, I just
sounds like
listen.
I could have used him as a friend in life too. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like he sounds
yeah.
amazing.
Remember, I kept trying to hook y'all up.
I know.
I was like, he's up in Canada. Ugh.
Now that's somebody that would be good for me because they do believe in God and they're not opposite. I don't know. I just think it would be.
And he had tattooed, listen, he was tatted up on both arms. And he
Oh
had
yeah.
his friend. You need to go in there, Nikki. You need to go in there and look at him. And you'll go, dang it, I should have took her up on that offer.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
and he's so talented and played the guitar and wrote his
Yeah,
own
that's like
music.
my dream as a guitarist.
Yeah.
Definitely someone in the band, definitely someone tatted up, and you know,
And he
like
was like 6 foot
somebody's gonna be
5.
good. Somebody that's a
And
good person.
wait until you see how handsome he is. And he had such a big heart. Listen, every girlfriend that he ever had
Yeah,
came to that funeral and they all loved him. And they were all just like nobody stayed mad at him. Like he was an encourager. Like no matter what was going on in his life, he
that's
was always
awful that he's
smiling
gone.
and always encouraging everybody. And but listen, the day before that, he was struggling so much and he talked to me and he had actually gone through deliverance. And I don't know how many people believe in that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying, like, it was real and he did. And he sent me the video of it. And honestly, like he was just crying for God. He kept asking for
No.
God to take away the pain he had. And honestly, I'm glad he sent me that because that gives me comfort because I know he did. Like he closed
Yeah,
his eyes in this earth, and I can only imagine what he opened his eyes to. And as much as I love him and I want him here with me, if I could go there and see what he's seeing, like there's no way I could
yeah,
take him away from that and bring him back to this
exactly.
filthy, rotten place.
Yeah,
He was
definitely think it
almost
is a
too
rotten
good for
place.
this world. I feel that. I feel he was too good for this world.
Absolutely. Yep. It is a rotten place we live in. I always thought that because, when you go to church and everything, and then my grams and stuff, they always believe in God. I'm like, well, how do we know we're not in hell? What if this is hell?
Some
What if we've
it
all
is for
been
some
dead this whole
people.
time?
We're
Like,
not
what if
dead.
this is hell?
Well, we're not dead really, but we kind of are until we know God. I'll tell you that because I felt like I was walking through this life kind of, if I could explain it like this, with the lights off, when you're walking in a room, but you know your way around. So you kind of feel your way around, but you really can't
Yeah.
see. And then it was like when God really came in and like showed me who he was and there was no denying it. Like it was like somebody cut a light switch on so I could actually see for the first time in my life
Yeah.
and feel
I
loved
get that.
actually for the first time in my life because
Good. You deserve
I
it.
had I had decent parents, but they were really young when they had me, 17 and 19. And like my nanny, my grandma was like, oh my gosh, she was my everything. She was, oh my, and she died when I was
Mine
only
raised
21.
me like
Yeah, same
she was
here.
my mom
Like
too.
it was my place to go when my dad would come home drunk and running around carousing with women and they would be fussing and fighting all night. And I would go to my nanny's house and
Yeah.
like I remember making
Same.
a deal with her that if there was really a heaven, because she believed, she would tell
Yeah,
me
so did
stuff.
mine.
Uh,
Or so does mine.
So I made a deal with her when I was like 8 and I was sleeping in the bed with her. I was like, Nanny, promise me that when you die one day, and why would a kid think this? But I was like, when you die one day, that you'll find a way somehow to let me know that there's a heaven. So literally,
Yeah.
like the day she passed, I was with her in the room, holding her head, kissing her, telling her that, it was going to be okay. She was going to heaven. And I wasn't even really a believer at the time, but I'm just telling her this because that's what she believed.
Yeah.
And, you know, when she actually passed away, like, because she actually said she loved me. I was her only granddaughter, and the rest were all grandsons. So I was like the favorite. And so
Yeah.
it was like really tough. But anyway, like I cried so hard that night in the shower. I stayed in the shower until there was like cold water running because I didn't want the kids to hear me crying. And
Yeah, I hear you.
so I went to bed and she came to me in a dream. And it was so real. It was more real than the life that I'm like living right now, like the way it looks now. It was so real. And she was young. She was like 30 something looking. And the only way I knew who she
Wow.
was is because her eyes were the same. Like she looked the exact same in her
I want
eyes
to
and when
touch
she
it.
talked. Like, but she was beautiful. And like she was just telling me all this stuff about heaven and how great it was and don't cry for her and all this stuff. And that had a huge impact on
Yeah,
me
because
actually
I
believing in
absolutely
God.
believe that was true. Absolutely. My grandfather sees me every now and then in my dreams.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
my mama comes and visits me. Like, so I do have times that my relatives come visit me in my dreams. Now, Zach
Yep.
hadn't yet, but I'm waiting. I'm like, Lord, please. I was this morning, I was sitting in the bathroom singing how great thou art to the Lord, telling him how much I love him, and to please tell my
Yeah.
son how much I love him and that he can come visit me anytime he's ready.
Oh, I'm sure he will. He probably has, and you just haven't even realized.
I don't know. The dreams I have, like when I wake up, I have to like shake myself back into this reality because, like, I literally feel like I'm somewhere else. Like,
Mhm.
they're that intense. So I feel like when I do have that dream, like even my ex mother in law came to me, and before I knew that she was passed away, I woke up and saw the clock, looked at the clock, and knew for sure that she had passed away because she came to me and
Yeah.
told me that to tell the children she loved them. She had cancer, but we didn't know she was dying that night, or anything. And
Yeah.
like I had been divorced from her son for at least 15 years, and I was pregnant with my youngest child that's graduating now. But she came to me literally and told me, I love you. And we talked twice a week, at least on the phone. She was, even though I was divorced from her son, I still loved her. But
Yeah.
she said, I love you, and tell the kids I love them. And please don't forget about Jamie, which is my middle son. And that's weird because he's the silent one, and he's the one that just found his brother also. So
Oh,
like
wow.
that's made me really concerned about him, and I like keep praying for him because like she was a woman of God, she was. And
Yeah.
she like came to me, and I looked at the clock to see what time it was, but I didn't like tell anybody. But that morning my ex called and said, before he said anything, I said, Jerry has passed away, didn't she passed away? And he said, yeah. I said, before you say anything, let me tell you a time. And I told him the time. He said that was 10 minutes after she passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was no way he could deny it either
Yeah.
because I knew the time and there was no way I could know that.
Wow.
So, like, there's just too many things that I've seen not to believe, I guess, is more like
Yeah.
it. So, anyway, I'm going to be praying for you, and I'm going to believe that the Lord is going to give you some joy through the morning. And I mean the morning like Mourning.
Yeah.
And I
I
hope
don't know.
that
I feel
everything
weird.
goes
I
good
feel like I'm
tomorrow.
already too late. I don't know. I
No,
got this feeling.
no, you're never too late. I'm going to ask the Lord that she holds on so that you can get there and see her and you get to send
Yeah,
her
because I don't
goodbyes.
think it's gonna be much longer. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna miss her or something.
Nah, just get there
Mhm.
tomorrow and tell her everything you need to
I'm
tell
going
her.
right as I have to take a bus in town, so I'm getting right up for the first bus is 8:50. So I'm going right in the morning.
Well, tonight I'll say a prayer before I go to bed that she makes it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that you get to say everything you want to say and give her a good hug and a kiss so that you have that in your heart.
I have to, or I'll never forgive myself. Not that I
Yeah.
wouldn't go anyways, but I don't know. I know I have to go now. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's
Like I
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
go.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you do have, I believe you have a gift from God. I really do. the same sort of
Yeah.
when I do. I really believe that. And I just think like right now you just don't see it, but I think you're going to see
Yeah.
it. And I think God's going to use you in a big way. I really do because your
That
heart
would
is
be
just
nice.
so good. I'm telling you, I really do. Like I know God brought us together for a reason. My husband said that. He said
Yeah.
God brought you guys together for a reason.
Well, you help me a lot with the things you say and the things you do. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you do.
Well,
I'm
just
very
know I'm
fond of you.
I love you. I really do. And I talk about you all the
Yeah.
time, even on other creators' channels. I'm like, hey, if y'all hadn't checked out, I like tell everybody that you helped me with StreamYard. Like I didn't know
She
how
has
to
a
do
very bad
StreamYard.
mouth, but she means
No,
well.
no, actually I say we don't have the same beliefs, but that doesn't matter. I said we're just like
Not at
really
all.
but it doesn't matter. Like that just doesn't matter
No.
to me. Like I love your heart.
No.
I do.
Thank
And
you. Love
like
yours
I
too.
always, whenever I'm on anybody else's panel, and there's this guy named Morbid that I thought he was on your channel one night, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Were you ever on Nikki 38's channel?" But now I think it's Nikki Supernatural. I was like, "Y'all need to
Yeah, I
check it out."
changed it because the reason why I changed it is because I'm doing not only true crime, but I'm also doing ghosts and aliens. So I thought,
Yeah,
supernatural crime, Nikki, that would be good.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, poof, I start doing KJ again, like boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom. That's because she's, I
Well,
don't know, I feel like I
well,
have
you
so
got
much
it's
better right
almost
now.
like you got to, yeah. I did one of
Yeah.
her whenever she did that to Jessa Duggar when she had that miscarriage.
Yeah.
That
Like
was
when
just
she
too
does
much for
stupid shit
me.
like that,
Woo! I
I
had
have
to
to
make
say
one for that.
something.
I had to. And then there's somebody that's as bad or worse than her on the YouTube streets. And I don't even want to give her
Yeah.
clout, so I'm not going to say her name, but I did make a video
I
about
think
her.
I know. Does the initials start with MS?
No, it starts with
Oh,
P
a different
G.
one.
G. Yeah, and she hides behind a church, which makes it even worse and makes me want to even find her even more so
Oh, wow.
and go
Yeah, I don't
ham
know.
on
I
her.
feel like that too. Yeah, exactly. Go ham on your ass.
Yeah, exactly. I call her Swear Garden. she And I was bashing her bad the other night, and I really should. I mean, I wasn't bashing her. Actually, I was doing it in a nice way, like trying to
Yeah.
get her help, like trying to help. I was like, obviously, you're bitter and you hate your life, and like I'm really like trying to do this to hold a mirror up so you can see it. It's not a good look on you. Like
Yeah.
look at yourself, and like I was playing herself back on the live and saying like, look what you're doing, and you're such a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. I can't
that
stand
I can't
hypocrites.
stand that. That's what I'm saying.
They annoy the heck out of me.
Like I tell the truth. Like, look, I smoke my natural medicine. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And it helps me way better than any pill ever did. And thank God that
Yeah,
for it.
it does. Like I remember I was talking about those chocolates that my uncle made. Well, my aunt made fucking brownies. I've never had a brownie like that
Oh,
before. Oh my God, Kayla.
you didn't eat the whole
Oh
thing,
my
did you?
God. No, thank God
Oh,
I only
thank
took a little
God.
tiny fucking piece
Yeah.
because I remember like all the movies I've seen and everybody's talked about that. Do not eat the whole thing.
Don't eat the
So I
whole
just took
thing.
a bite out of it and I figured, this ain't gonna do anything. Holy crap, my whole body felt like fuck.
It
And then I
creeps
ate
up on
everything in
you.
my house and I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm like, I am what the fuck?
Dang, I should have been there with you that night. We'd had a great
Oh, it
time.
was so funny. And I was all by myself. My son wasn't here. That's the only reason why I did it
Oh,
because I didn't want him to
yeah.
see me stoned.
Dang,
Just in case.
I wish I lived closer.
Yeah, I know.
We could
I
share.
need definitely need.
We could make some brownies, and when your kid goes somewhere
Yeah.
else, we could just sit and
Oh,
laugh.
and paranoid. I'm like, what if someone calls me? I can't answer. They're gonna know I'm stoned. It was stupid. It's like I'm 39 years old. Who gives a shit?
Who cares? That's the way
God,
I'm
who
now.
cares?
I'm 52. I'm like I could care less. Like I never did that in high school or anything. I was like in my
Yeah,
40s, I think, before I ever did it. But
yeah.
actually, somebody suggested. My mom scared me for so bad. She told me she did it one time, and there was embalming fluid in it, and like it made her like
Oh,
all numb, and she couldn't move, and she was paralyzed. So I was so petrified to
she's
do
waiting
it.
for a shipment. Aesop's
Yeah,
like, I'm waiting for my shipment.
yeah. I thought about doing that.
I'd love to send some, but I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, like they're legalizing it pretty much almost in every state now. Here, there are several states, and unfortunately, mm, you
Oh,
know,
here it's all legal. Like I
I
can walk down the
know.
road and
I
yeah.
love
And
that. And y'all have free
I got
healthcare
like
too.
a big chunk of pot sitting on my fridge I keep forgetting about. But my aunt come over and had some beers with me and she's like, "Oh shit, have some. We've got plants all in the backyard. She's like, oh, you gotta try this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll have a couple puffs. I'm like, you gonna roll one? She's like, I don't have any rollies, do you? I'm like, no, I'm not a roller. Yeah, I don't roll. I'm like, but I do have a pipe that looks like a penis and it's pink too.
Yeah. So let's use that.
So we use that. I'm like, holy fuck, Tara. I'm like, I'm
So
a
was
little
it the
high.
well, there's the
And it got rid of
sativa.
my migraine I was getting
Well,
because every
yeah.
time I
It
like,
helps with
yeah.
nausea, it helps with
Oh, it
migraines.
worked.
It works so well for so many things.
Oh, she's doing great, Heavenly Cow. She was in here near the beginning. Yeah, she's doing good. Teresa
Honestly,
was in here.
if you could get your grandma a little bit of pot and sneak it in there to her, like in a little tincture,
That
man,
would be
that
good.
would help her
That's what I
so
said to mom. I'm
good,
like, why can't they give her pot for pain? Why can't they give her like
right?
an edible, or why can't they give it
Or
to her
even, how it
intravenously
comes in a
somehow?
dropper,
CBD
that
oil.
the Charlotte's Web that they made for that little girl that was having all those seizures. And it
Yeah.
comes in a little dropper like a tincture oil. Because I was
Yeah.
taking that for a while,
The
actually.
oil.
It
And
works.
it does. It does. Yeah. Well, the one I had was very low. What was
But
it?
for
It
your
wasn't.
grandma, it's old, as much as she's been through, that would probably be enough for her, though, because
When you
it would probably have
put
a
it under your
cover.
tongue, and it does
Yeah,
work. And you don't
yeah,
feel like, ooh, because it's
right.
not
I
or
think it would
anything.
just calm her down so she's not so like
She's in a lot of
frustrated.
pain.
Yeah,
In a
I'd
lot
be
of
cussing
pain.
too if
Yeah.
I was in a lot of pain and I wasn't getting my pain
Every
taken care of. I'd
That's
be
what my mom
fussing
said. She
too.
goes, I've never heard my mother swear so much in my life, but she's like, she's even close to going to that C word. I'm like, no
Oh well, y'all
way.
need to take her in some tincture like
Well,
in
that's what
the.
I'm wondering. It is legal, so why can't I just give her other medicine? I
I
mean,
would
I'm
do
gonna
it.
ask the doctor
Let's screw the
and say, can I
doctor.
just give
That's
her
your
a couple
grandma.
drops under her
Like
tongue?
if she's not
Well,
doing good
my
and if she's
mom is her whatever you call it.
her
It's my mom's
guardian and
decision.
her
But
like her
I know
guardian.
my mom would be like, no.
Say, but mom, just try it. Let's try it just to see. It's not going to hurt her. Pot's never hurt
Yeah,
anybody. She's already here and she's
exactly.
not doing well. Let's just see if it'll help
I
her. Because
wouldn't give
don't
her
you want her to
anything too
relax?
much, just like
Right.
a couple drops.
Just a drop
Like,
or so, just to
yeah.
see. Because if it calmed her down, like it even helps people like
She's
that have.
miserable. She's miserable. And
Man,
I hate saying this,
I
but
would
I
if
feel like she needs to be
I
put
would.
out of her misery.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
She's
and
not
that would help
happy.
her so much. Like, think about if you're laying there if you're laying there and you're miserable, but somebody was kind enough to come slip you some pot oil in your
Yeah, because she
mouth,
can't
like,
walk. She
wouldn't
can't
you be
feed
so
herself. She can't do
thankful?
nothing.
Yeah, wouldn't you be so thankful? Because you could just
Damn
sit there
right
and
I
finally
would.
like float and relax. Just make sure you
I
give
think
her
I'm
the
gonna,
right
you know what?
kind.
I'm gonna bring a piece of that brownie, but like a really, really, really tiny
Yeah.
piece.
Make sure
Fuck
it's
it.
the kind that'll like put you to sleep. Is it the indica? I think that makes you go down. The sativa
I
is
don't
the
know what
upper.
she's got in it, but it's good shit. It will help with pain because it helped
Okay.
me.
All right. Well,
Absolutely.
as long as it helps with pain, because man, I'm telling you,
I just
that
want
is
to see her laughing.
that's humane. That is being humane.
Exactly. But I know
She's
I'll
got
give
the
her like a
right.
slither, barely
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And if it
Shoot,
works,
if that
I'll
was
be
my
so
grandma,
happy.
I would do it in a flat second, no doubt about it.
Well, I
I like
want to, and my mom's the boss of it, so I'm gonna ask her and tell her I'll give her just a little tiny, tiny piece and see what
just to see if it
happens.
helps her. Like I smoked with my dad before he passed away, like after he got out of the hospital and stuff, and he was hurting, and I was just like, "Yeah, we'll roll one up." You know what I'm saying, Dad? We'll sit here.
Well, they give it to people who are dying from cancer. Why not can I
Right,
give it to her? It's in a
right,
brownie, so it's very potent, but I will give
right.
her
Just a
even
tiny bit.
a
Yeah,
quarter of what I had, and I
yeah.
had just a little bit. But
Not
yeah, I
like a
definitely
piece of
will do that.
crumb. Yeah, like a couple crumbs.
Fuck it, I'm
Because
bringing it.
bless her heart, if it does help her, and then your mama can keep it and like just give her tiny
I'm gonna bring the
bits.
whole thing. I'd
Yeah,
rather give it up to help her.
and like give it to your mom and say, look, if it helps her, just give her little bits here and there. When
And
she's
if it
acting like
doesn't
she's
and she
hurting,
doesn't like it or
no
she's
big deal.
whatever,
Yeah,
fine, then you have it for your back because
exactly.
my mom's got back issues.
Not only that, but then going through what she's going through with her mom, she probably needs it too. Say half
That's
it
what I'm
with
thinking for my
half it
mom.
with
I think it
grandma.
because it does make you tired. It does make you tired,
Yeah,
makes you sleepy, and it helps with pain. So even if my grandmother, if she says no, I'm gonna beg her, but I'm gonna
yeah,
tell her that just let me try it. And then if it doesn't help Grams at all or whatever, then I'm gonna tell her take it for yourself and take a bite before you go to bed. Trust me, it works.
yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
see, ASAP says it worked. Yeah.
Yep, it does. Indica is the more sedating one. That's what I was thinking. Indica is, and sativa makes you more upward, and that makes you more like alert
Yeah.
or so. But the indica, I think, would be the best And that's probably what she's got if it
I
made
don't
you
know
tired.
what's in it. I know they grow their own, and whatever they do to it is like a miracle because every
Yeah.
time I eat their chocolates or whatever, anything, even the brownies, like just
All your
helps because I
pain
was sitting
goes.
and I was trying to talk to her and I'm like this, and then she's like, "Here, have a beer." I'm like, honestly, I feel like I'm gonna be sick. So she gave me a chocolate, and then I chugged a beer, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I feel great."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you want your grandma to feel. You want her to feel like that, you
Right?
know?
Because
Yeah.
I pulled a muscle in my neck, then I was getting a migraine, so I was like stuck, like what was it, this side, I think, for a while.
Oh, that
Oh, it
sucks.
sucked.
Oh man, I hate that. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I just
telling
went
you,
the wrong
it's
way.
like you know what? And the reason I believe, like particularly our government here where I live, they didn't like it and didn't want it because they couldn't figure out how to tax it, and it was about the money and the
Ah,
big pharma, big pharma, because they
you
wanted
can still
control.
grow
So if
now.
people could grow their own pain medicine in their backyard, then
Yeah,
what's
like
going
if
to
I
make us
wanted
be
to,
dumb
I can
enough?
go to my uncle's, go grab, I don't know, what do you grab? Like a bud or what is it?
Yeah,
Grab
heavenly
whatever it is
cow.
you're supposed to use to grow, and I can just grow plants in my backyard. And
Exactly.
it's legal.
Exactly.
Just
And
go
that's the way
out
it
there,
should
take
be.
my lighter and
Exactly. Like say, I can't even wait to dry you. I'm just gonna I'm gonna
yeah.
light this like so it'll dry out really quick. There are ways to dry it quick, like in the oven and
No,
stuff.
I know, but I'm just thinking, no, my luck, I'll be so desperate waiting for this.
Yeah. And just pull it over there, just like light it on fire right
Well, I
there.
mean, why not? Might as well grow my own. Well, actually, my aunt, she's making me some pot butter. That way I can mix that and I can make my brownies with it. I can make a damn cake. I can make chocolate. I've got, yeah. So I'm like, really? She goes, oh, hell yeah. She's like, I'll give you the butter because you need like a grease for it to stick to, and that's
Right.
what the butter's for.
Right.
So she'll make me some marijuana butter and then I'll use
Mhm.
that and I'm gonna make my own damn chocolates.
Yeah, and
Nah, I
you know
probably won't. I'll ask her. I'll just put butter on my toast.
that is a good
Like,
idea. I need to get my
yeah, I
son,
probably won't make
the
my
one
own
that's still
chocolates.
alive.
I'll
I
make
need to
her
get
make
him to
me the
make me
butter.
butter.
I'm gonna ask her. Well, never mind. I don't have to. She already said she would. She's like, yeah, I'm making butter. So my next batch, I'll give you a batch. And then she's like, honestly, if you're really in that much pain, you're not gonna give a shit what you eat. So just slap some on some toast and away you go. I said, I was
Exactly.
just gonna ask you because I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I gotta make no. I'll be like,
Exactly. Exactly, because it beats hurting all the time, and when you got to get stuff
it
done,
does.
you know what I'm saying?
It
I
does.
mean, it's like quality of life. It's not just quantity, it's quality. I
Do
would
it,
rather,
Esty.
yeah.
She's like, yeah, Heavenly Cow. She smokes it to help with her stomach problems.
Yeah,
Another one
see,
smokes it for ADHD. SD
I've
says
got
she's got pure plants
lupus,
there.
fibromyalgia, and I've got also irritable bowel problems with stomach problems.
So I got irritable bowel syndrome. Every time I eat, it's like, pew, gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's
Hate it.
terrible. But
And
my
that's
the
why I'm so
marijuana
sore all the
works,
time.
but it really does work. I'm telling you. Like
I
I'm
wish
like
it were
Bob
legal.
Marley.
So Aesop says, I wish it were fully legal in Texas. We can legally carry guns, but a plant that comes from the earth is illegal because that makes sense. Yeah,
Exactly.
that don't make no fucking
Ain't
sense.
that so messed up? Same.
We're not allowed to have guns, but well, okay, you can to hunt. I don't really know what the rules are. I just know that we're not allowed, like we can't carry open carry or anything like that. I know
Right, right,
you're allowed to hunt when it's hunting season.
right.
But other than that, we can grow pot. I
Well,
can
that's
walk down the
fa
street and fucking smoke a joint and nobody can say
well,
shit,
hey, I think that's the answer to the world's problem. Grow more weed and
right?
it doesn't matter.
Not see
But
people
people aren't
punching people out
yeah,
when they're
because
on pot.
see, people aren't gonna be shooting people with guns even if we have them because we're gonna
Exactly.
be so happy because we're gonna be on pot. We're not gonna wanna shoot each other.
If anything, they'll have to come up with more restaurants because I eat like
Yeah.
crazy.
Like put stock in the fast food business. That's what you do.
Holy shit. So SD's on it for CPSTD, fibro, ADHD, and chronic major depressive disorder.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And PTSD
Yeah.
as well. And anxiety. Because
Yep.
I've got all those.
Yeah, I
And
have everything that she has except for ADHD and
And the thing
fibro. I
is,
don't have that.
where I'm at, okay, it's not fully like illegal. They've decriminalized it. So you get like a parking ticket. As long as you've got under an ounce, it's like $100
Yeah.
ticket if they catch you. But like normally they'll even give it back to you a lot of times. Like But we don't have dispensaries, so you have to go to like another state to get a good
We have
quality.
stores, literally a store down the
I
road, and
know.
I can go get my gummies, I can get my drinks.
And that's
They've
the way
got
we should
like
be
their
everywhere.
energy drinks like this, or they'll give it's a fruit juice or whatever you want, but it's got pot in it, or you can buy the oils, whatever the pre-rolled joints you can buy.
Yeah. It's
Anything
like
you
that
can
is,
think of, they've
and
got
it's
it.
like that is set over now.
And
So
there's no
that's where I'll be
limit.
going. Yeah, I'm gonna be going.
There's no limit.
I'm gonna be going.
So
I'm
what
gonna
I did is I bought my penis thing, my what
your
the hell do you call
glass.
that? My new
Your
glass sexy looking penis.
yeah, because I used to have one that broke. It's called a bowl. Your bowl.
My bowl? No.
It's not a bowl. It's a
No.
glass,
I
like
mean,
when
I
they do
can
the
make a
blown
bowl to smoke.
glass. Yeah, it's like it's not a bowl.
I don't know what I
Is
know
it
what
a
it's called, but
ball?
I can't think of it.
Is it a hookah
It's not a
or a
song. It's a
ball?
no, whatever. Anyways, so I bought that. I bought rolled joints, I bought pot, I bought gummies, I bought CBD oil, and a drink. I couldn't believe I bought all that. So I'm walking down the street with all this. What
And
it
you're
feels
like,
like I'm walking with illegal stuff, but I'm not. And I'm like, I open the drink and I'm fucking walking down the street.
that's great. That's
This is
enough
a
reason.
great
Like
feeling.
I've told y'all before, I've wanted to move to Nova Scotia for a long time. Like this is enough reason, and like it's so close right there, to Massachusetts and stuff. You're just right across the bay, in Nova
Here, I'm gonna
Scotia
show you
right
what it
there.
is. It's definitely not a bong. It's like this long and it looks like a penis. What the hell do you call them things? Because a bong is like a thing.
Right, a bong, yeah, is like a when it stands up,
My pipe.
but then
My
a
pipe.
bowl
We call them
pipes.
pipes.
Okay, pipes. Okay, well, and where
We
I
call
live,
pipe.
we call them bowls. They're glass, anything that's glass and long, and you can pack the marijuana in the top of it in this little like
Yeah.
rounded off area with a hole in it, and then you smoke it that way. Is that how that
Yeah.
works?
Like I
Is that
kind
how
of
you
have
do
like
it?
my head kind of hurts a little bit right now, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go smoke a bowl, like a small,
Yeah,
small, small one.
yeah. I think I'm gonna be doing the same thing because this is about the right time of night.
Yeah, and then it'll be nice and relaxing. Finish watching my Desperate Housewives of no, it's
Oh,
not Desperate Housewives. It's the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll
I
finish
was
watching
watching the New
that.
Jersey one tonight before I got on your live. I saw you were
Yeah,
live, and I
that's the one
actually cut
that
that off
I
and
was
got on.
watching the Beverly Hills one. I love that one. It's my favorite. I
I
haven't
hadn't
watched
watched
any
that
of
one.
the other ones.
I need to watch it because I hadn't watched it
It's
lately.
good. It's
Uh,
good.
oh, I might get on that then instead of the new Jersey one because Teresa's been getting on my nerves anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
back home like
That's
she
one
was
I
getting
don't really
married.
yeah. I don't, but this one I do like. There's just a lot of women in there that like the first season I hated Camille. The second season, I
Oh
can't
yeah,
stand Kim. And
yeah.
would help me
Camille.
retain a lot of ESOPs.
Yes, it does.
You're gonna email me tonight? All right. If I don't answer, it's because I'm stoned.
That's right. Also, remember,
So I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did she just say? And I'll forget in 2 seconds what I read.
how
So
about on we know that what's her name that's been coming out and exposing everything about John Walsh, his daughter Megan, like she has
yeah,
nose cancer and she's been using the Rick
yeah,
Simpson oil to heal it, and her nose looks so much better. Like it
it
looks
does.
like a million times better. That Rick
Oh yeah,
Simpson oil, man, that stuff is a miracle. And you can
yeah.
actually get on YouTube and look up how to make Rick Simpson oil, and it
That's
will show you.
awesome.
So if you're
And it's
struggling with
so it's
any kind
all
of cancer,
it's great.
yeah, and you basically boil down, the cannabis,
Yeah,
outside in like a pressure cooker type thing, and he shows you how to do it, and you use like
that's
the
awesome.
highest type of alcohol in there to make it down into like a paste, and then you just take
Yeah.
the paste and take it and put it like in the area where you can rub it on topically for like skin cancer. Like I'm not putting any disclaimers out there that this is an
Yeah, we're just having
approved
a
by the
discussion.
FDA. We're just saying
She's
that other
sorry.
people. I'm
She's
saying that other.
sorry.
I'm doing a CYA for you, Nikki. I'm putting out a disclaimer. This is by
You
no
guys don't
means.
want to see. Well, actually, you guys probably would want to see me stoned off weed. I'm an idiot. I'll laugh so much it's stupid. I'll laugh at the dumbest shit and then I can't breathe because I'm laughing too hard. Oh
What
yeah,
we ought to do is one
I'm
of
a good
those.
time. According to my sister, I'm cute on it.
Well,
I
listen.
don't do it much.
What we ought to do is, how you do the little chats privately, like
Yeah.
those little small rooms where you have like a
Well, like
boom
we can
call or
even go into
something.
StreamYard and I can end
Yeah,
this broadcast and we can talk. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody could just smoke and laugh and cut up.
We'll do
So,
it.
yeah, especially like you're gonna need
I'll put
us.
one day. I'll put like on a Friday or Saturday or something. Like anybody want to smoke one? Come join me.
Yes, exactly. Get toasted. Is anybody ready to have a toast?
Yeah, all you have to do is just click the link, but we won't go live. We'll just sit in here and talk.
Right, exactly. And then everybody, it's okay if we let ourselves show in our pajamas or whatever. It won't matter. It'll just be
Exactly,
us.
because we won't be live.
Right. And we don't have to wear makeup.
Yeah.
Our hair can look ratty. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'll be in my jammies. I won't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. I'll be in my pajamas, no bra, just look
Everybody
past it.
smoke some pot, or even
Right.
have some drinks or something, and then we don't go
Yeah.
live because you'll see it won't
Oh,
be live. It'll just be us
I don't.
in here, like me and you that we're in here on here right now.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That's what I'm talking about. That would be so fun because like just to
Yeah.
have fun to crack up and you don't have to worry about everything you say or people taking what you say and twisting it and running
Oh,
back.
you guys are gonna be
You
like,
know.
oh my God. Now what are you eating? Why are you laughing now? Now it's just
No,
so
we'll all be
annoying.
doing the same thing. That's the thing. We'll all be like, "What's wrong with you? What are you looking at? What are you doing?"
Oh
But
yeah.
I think that would be so fun, especially with what you're going through and what I'm going
Me
through. Like
too.
we need to
I
laugh.
should
That's the
do it
best
Fridays.
medicine. Yeah, that's the
Maybe
best medicine.
Saturday.
Oh yeah, my daughter will be at the prom. I'm gonna need to be laughing and getting high. It's her senior prom. So,
Oh, I missed my senior prom. That was fun.
uh, she's got her dress and everything. She's gonna be so pretty.
I'm glad,
Uh,
SD. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that things are getting better.
yeah.
I should go though because I can't keep my son in that
Well,
room much
we
longer.
should go though because we're gonna have to have a little toke. We were gonna be honest.
Yeah, I gotta use the washroom. Gotta go for a
Yeah,
bathroom break.
I gotta go to the
And I'm
bathroom
out of my
myself.
drink. I'm thirsty. I've got nothing left but ice. Thirsty.
Ah, well, thanks for inviting me up
That's all I'll
because
do.
you
I'll
just took
just
my
put
mind off
out
a lot of stuff.
yeah, I'll put out on my community tab. Hey, anybody want to smoke? Out
Yeah,
there.
do
And
that.
then
I'll be looking.
whoever says yes, 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 I'll be like, okay, we'll do it this time, and then everybody can come in here, but we won't
Right,
be live, so nobody else will
right.
hear or see us. Just whoever's in our group. I think that'll be fun.
That's a plan. And
Yeah,
for whoever it was that was saying that they're afraid to try it, they hadn't tried it, go ahead and get yours so that you'll be ready by then. So if you haven't done
yeah.
it, you can do it with all of us first so you won't be alone really.
And yeah, I'll even try by that brownie, so then I'll be even real more messed up.
Yeah, I'll try to find some of them too where I'm at.
Actually, I should go visit my aunt and uncle. They just got new batches there, so I should go.
Oh crap.
Hey, Brittany. Yeah, I figured there is. I'm pretty sure I didn't see the movie, but I seen that there was something about it. I didn't
I'm
know it
gonna
was
go
on
ahead
that.
and I'm gonna try to stomach it and watch it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be
You
brave and
might.
try to I might smoke one
Yeah,
or two
because you know what? The
first.
books are more personal, so what can be worse than a movie? You know what I mean? Like
Right,
the
that's what
books
I'm
are
saying. Because
worse.
they can't really show 100% of everything. They're gonna have to cut
Yeah,
some of it off, I would think, maybe. But it is
I would
Netflix.
imagine.
Yeah. But still, I think it's going to have to be less, probably, because in the book, it's almost like you imagine it in your head. And that is a mind screw way more than I think watching a movie sometimes. Books are more personal. Is that
Oh,
your
you're
son?
welcome. I went live because I knew, well, I haven't been for a while, and I thought tonight would be, I better go tonight because I don't know how I'm going to be tomorrow or Friday. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I can't just not go because I didn't even do anything yesterday. Oh my God, it was a mess because of my dad. And then,
Well, maybe cut yourself a corner of that brownie off so when you get home from your seeing your grandma.
I think I'm going to cut a corner off that brownie right now, and then I'm going to
Yeah.
be good because I don't want to do
Yeah.
it.
I agree with you, honey. Well, I'm going to be praying for you and I love you. And thank you for inviting me up. And I love you
No, we're doing
guys.
this together. So what about Wednesday every night at 7 p.m. Eastern time? Do you want to do it?
Sure.
This?
That sounds good. Yep.
You good? Okay.
Yep. hmm Yeah. And if something
All
happens,
right.
if I'm having a bad day or something, I'll text you.
Thank you, Amy.
But
Yeah, just let me know.
I will.
Well, we're on Twitter, so you can always
Yeah.
message me through
Yeah.
Twitter.
That's the
Yeah,
best
just
way
let
to
me know.
message
That's
you.
the best
Yeah.
way to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
so we'll do
Well, I love
that.
you
All right,
guys.
so there
Okay.
you go, you guys. Every Wednesday we'll be doing this breaking
Cult
free book.
stuff. Yeah. We're
Doing
gonna
some cult
expose
stuff, but we're
we're
gonna
gonna
do
expose
something,
the
unlike
real
somebody I know.
cults and then do something about it instead of just
Yeah,
yapping about something that's not even a cult and calling it something
exactly.
different. Like we're gonna actually do something with our time in life. unlike
Yeah.
others.
And then after we do this book, we should do another book or even do a movie. I don't not like make a movie, but watch a movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Well,
thanks for joining me, and yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday then.
yep, sounds good. Love you.
All right. Love you
Bye,
too.
y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
She's so cute. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna end now because I'm gonna have some brownie, I think. Yeah, a religious cult. Exactly. Now I want to do something about this. It's disgusting. Just even reading 3 chapters of this book, it just made me, oh wow, stuff I never do. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I promise I will go live more often. I've just, you know, family stuff been going on. I'm not sure what it'll be like tomorrow or Friday, so I don't know. Maybe I'll eat a piece of a brownie again and make a video or something. We'll see. Other than that, I'll keep making videos for sure, and then I'll be live every Wednesday, absolutely for sure. All right, you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining me.